On today's episode of Titus and Tate, part 2 of our top 50 storylines to keep an eye on, situations to monitor, whatever else you want to call it. Top 50 bullet points.
And again, we should remind the listeners at home, we had 100 of these.
We did.
We have 100 of these in the chamber, but 50 we're only sharing with you. So if you were not on our list, just know you were part of the other 50.
You were part of the other 50.
Yes.
Unfortunately, we had to whittle it down to 50 from 100. So
it's probably good.
So part 2. Listen, if you're listening to this, so we're recording this on Monday. We're going to put it out as soon as possible. So maybe you're listening to this. If you're if you're a psychopath, maybe you're listening to this in the wee hours of Monday night, Tuesday morning.
Thank you.
More than likely, you're listening to this on Tuesday morning, maybe lunch hour Tuesday afternoon. And what I'm saying here, Tate, is college basketball starts in less than 24 hours, no matter when you're listening to this.
Yes.
It's here. It's finally here. The season is here. We have a little more preview to talk about. We have a little more to discuss. And then the next time you hear our voices after today,
basketball season.
We will be talking about games that have already been played. So we're excited about that. But today we have some unfinished business. We have to get through our previews. Come join us. But first,
Coach K.
All right, top 25. These are the top 25 things we are looking forward to. We are monitoring, as I said. I've lost control of
all the monitoring.
We've monitored I have no idea what the conceit of this show is anymore. It's a preview, folks. We're just trying to talk about as much as we can talk about before the season starts.
We've had quadrants. We've had all types of things. But at the end of the day, we just want the stories.
Most importantly, we're trying to avoid talking about the Champions Classic.
Yes.
Number one, let's state the obvious. We are Fox Sports guys. We do not work for that other network that is ruined sports coverage as we know it. We have no time for them and their bull. We are Fox. Just coming out hot. We are Fox Sports guys, so we're not trying to pump up the tires of the Champions Classic.
Nope.
Also, who cares?
Who cares?
Who cares?
We've been led astray by the Champions Classic more times than not, so it's not like you learn anything from it. And if anything, even these fan bases, right? If you're Duke, after what Zion did in 2018, 2019, you leave that game saying, we're not going to lose a game all season.
We're national champions. Give us the trophy now.
Yeah, it shades you the wrong way at times. So it's not good for anybody. It's not good for the fans. It might be good for Coach K, though.
It might be, yeah.
And I'm tuning in for Coach K.
Yeah,
so
I mean, we're going to watch
it. We're not going to talk about it. We will watch.
We'll talk about it at the end. But what I at the end of the show today, we might
it's
do a
not
little
part of the top 25.
Yeah, but it's not in the top 25.
No.
What I was saying is we want to do previews. We want to talk about stuff. The season has not technically started yet, and we have to talk about things. So these are our top 25 non-Champions Classic things that we want to talk about. Number 25 on the list.
Yes.
Very, very impressive that it made number 25. This feels like if we're being completely honest with ourselves, this feels like a 79, more like a 63, somewhere in a 63 to 79 range.
This is like when people watch games in December and they're like, that felt like an Elite 8 game or a Sweet 16 game. You're saying this
as
feels
I'm about
like a
to say this,
78, 79 range.
Yeah, those who monitor closely are going to say, this is a 25. This is a top 25 point. And to that I say, yes, it is,
Yeah,
folks.
I think it is.
The CAA is banning JMU from competing for a conference title this year, Tate.
And now a lot of people at home are saying, wait a second, CAA, Creative Arts Agency, has decided to come down to college basketball.
Why doesn't James Madison just sign with Clutch if CAA is stopped?
Exactly.
That's what people might be saying.
Yes.
That's not that CAA. This is the Colonial Athletic Association.
Okay.
It's a conference.
Now I'm up to speed. Okay. Now I'm back. When I hear CAA, I think immediately Zion 300 pounds.
I should say, I didn't actually double check the story. It could be Creative Artist Agency that's blocking it. That's I just assumed it was the Colonial Athletic.
That's kind of like the future of college basketball, right? Like an agency has its own overtime, has its own league.
Yep.
An agency has its own conference.
This is a great point.
Yeah,
I didn't
we could
think
get
about
there.
that.
Yeah,
Clutch and
Donda has its own academy. Already played a game, by the way. 0-1. Donda Academy 0-1.
Did they lose?
They lost their first game to Minnesota Prep, I believe.
I feel like that's got to be Jim. That's got to be your beat all season is Donda and overtime and all that.
Yeah,
we got to.
I'm on it.
We have to.
It's not even that we have to tell him to be on. He's on top of it.
Yeah, but I mean, just like throughout the season, if we need info on what's going on in those alternative leagues, I feel like that's a Jim Cunningham corner, isn't it?
I like alternative expert Jim Cunningham.
Yeah. Anyway, so if you missed the story, JMU is in the process of leaving the CAA.
They're bumping up.
They're bumping up to the Sun Belt, and if you're someone who drinks the blue blood Kool-Aid, You might be saying yourself. This is not me saying this, Tate, by the way. This is a quote from someone who is a blue blood person. I'm not. I famously love the little guys. But if you're someone who loves the blue blood, you might be saying to yourself, what's the difference between CAA and the Sun Belt? Because they're both like kind of other leagues.
One of them Vic Bubis made.
They're like,
as a blue blood.
what's the difference? I'll tell you what the difference is, too. The Sun Belt plays FBS football. The Sun Belt plays big boy football, where if you go undefeated, you could definitely be in the argument.
And JMU's got a good football program.
Yes, you could be in the argument of being snubbed from the college football playoff. If now JMU, as it stands right now, they have to play for the 1AA, whatever the hell that league is called.
I think it's the G5 title.
The G5 title, the FCS AA. All-State Independence Bowl.
We're too lost to even know what it means.
So JMU wants to bump their football program up. In order to do that,
basketball.
In order to do that, you apparently have to bump everything up. So basketball is moving. Every sport at JMU is moving from the Colonial Athletic to the Sun Belt. And here's the story we want to talk about, Tate. The Colonial Athletic is a little butthurt about this and is saying, if you're going to move, then that means this year you can't win our conference titles. We're going to take our ball and go home. You can play. You're going to play in our conference. But now you can't play in our conference tournament.
You can't have the spoils.
I don't understand this. JMU, by the way, won the CAA last year, the regular season.
Yes.
They did not win the tournament. They were upset by Elon.
And we talk about college sports. It's supposed to be about the kids. We're FTK. We're for the kids. And this is literally the opposite of that. I mean, you're basically saying this team, this group of guys has no chance to enjoy a chance to go to the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
Which is wild. Like, I mean, because when you're JMU, you go into the season, you say, this is why we play the game.
Yeah, you're basically they've basically been banned from the NCAA tournament. Is what we've learned. Because, I mean, there is a world where they can get an automatic bid.
But that's not a world that we live in.
That's not the world that we live in.
We don't live in that world. Yeah. So JMU has to be able to win the CAA tournament to get in.
I don't like it.
I don't like it either.
I personally do not like it. That's why it's number 25.
And the journalists hate this too. So like this is, if anything, you mentioned number 79. Maybe our journalism caps are on, and we're a little upset about this. So we got in the top 25.
Our guy PFT commenter knows a thing or two about JMU.
Is he up in arms about this?
He may or may not have gone to James Madison University.
Oh, he went to JMU.
Yeah, I think
JMU's I told you this. JMU is the ECU of Virginia. And that's a compliment.
Explain that to people that don't live in like the tiny ass pocket of America you're talking about. Like there are 12 people I think that would understand that reference. For the others, Tate, explain what you mean by JMU is the
Honestly,
ECU.
I don't think I can explain it any other way. If you know, you know. I mean, ECU, the kid that's going to go to ECU, his other school that he's looking at is JMU. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Okay.
That's like their two choices, like JMU, ECU. I got into JMU. That might mean I get into ECU. But if I don't get to ECU, I go to JMU. And JMU always has good sports programs, good teams, good coaches that have come through there.
That's what I said. They won the CAA regular season title last year.
This is a shame.
It is a shame. It's a travesty. And you know what else it is? It's wrong.
It's wrong.
It's wrong.
Where's Jay Billis?
And we have to fix this. So I really don't understand how this is allowed, but at the same time, why doesn't the Sun Belt just step up now and just say, like, let's come play in our tournament?
That's what I think.
Yeah, you should invite JMU to the Sun Belt tournament at the end of the year. Have JMU play in the CAA all season, and then when it's conference tournament time, JMU just goes and plays in the Sun Belt tournament.
And then if you stop them, you basically are like, welcome to the Sun Belt.
Yeah. Great idea. Great idea.
I like that.
Yeah. Moving on, number 24.
This is a big deal.
This is a big deal. People may have missed this news. Why are you laughing?
Because I missed this news until you showed it to me.
St. Thomas. The St. Thomas. What, you know what their nickname is?
That's St. Thomas. That's not St. Aquinas.
Nope.
Different St. Thomas.
St. Thomas out of Minnesota is now a Division I school. They will be playing Division I basketball this year. This is number 24 on our list. Do you know what St. Thomas's nickname is?
No.
The Tommies. I swear to God.
It's good.
A fan of the Johnnies.
Yeah, a guy who's
He's a fan of the Tommies. Johnnies versus Tommies.
St. Bonaventure Bonnies.
Man.
The St. Thomas Tommies. Yeah. Unbelievable.
The poor Jimmies and Joes.
So St. Thomas was a Division III school in Minnesota. They are now a Division I school in Minnesota. They have jumped up from Division III to Division I.
Do we call this the Duncan Robinson?
Maybe.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Minnesota now has 2 Division I schools. Tate, what does this mean for the Gophers? What does this mean for St. Thomas? How do we feel about this? Are there other schools you're looking to make the jump to Division I that you have circled that you're like, when is this school going to grow some balls and go to Division I?
Gardner-Webb. That's the first school that came to mind. They might even be D1 at this point. But I will say this.
Carter, whatever. Are you serious? Get out of here.
They might be D1. I mean, they're D1 talent, right? Isn't that where Chris Holtman was?
They're D1, dude.
They are D1.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, St. Thomas, we talked about the recruits from Minnesota. No disrespect to Gardner Webb. Love you guys, but I'm just saying.
No disrespect to Gardner Webb.
Maybe they jump up and get even more in our face as a D1 program. But St. Thomas, we saw the recruits from Minnesota that said they wanted to play for the Gophers. They wanted to stay home.
Right.
A lot of these guys, Suggs in particular.
Yep. McKinley Wright was one of them.
McKinley Wright.
Yep.
And now, maybe if Minnesota doesn't work out, they go play for St. Thomas.
Who else was Matthew Hurt, Minnesota kid? He was a Minnesota kid. And the Jones.
Remember Roy Williams flew to Minnesota during the polar vortex to watch Matthew Hurt.
Yeah, and then he went to
We
Duke.
were there, and then he went to Duke.
I think that's why he retired.
I would have retired.
Roy
a lot of people point to there's like a big white guy that ruined Roy, and they think it's Walker Kessler. Matthew Hurt.
It's Matthew Hurt. Roy went to those links and couldn't get Matthew Hurt. So St. Thomas, welcome to Division I. This is exciting. Also, just the fact that Minnesota. Yeah, two things stood out to me is that Minnesota forever the Gophers were the one school in Minnesota. Now there's an alternative school. Now there's
How's there not a Minnesota State?
Yeah, I don't know. I think there is, but they're not.
But how are they not bumped up?
And then the other thing is going from Division III to Division I has my respect, and I think St. Thomas is going to get absolutely smoked. I know nothing about their basketball program. Obviously, I'm not plugged into the Division III scene, but I imagine they're going to have some growing pains. But I love that they're here. It's exciting times to have more people at the party. We have like 300. How many are there? Let me pull up Kim Palm. Kim Palm knows. He's got all of them listed. 350. What is it now, Tate? 358. Wow.
Yeah, I thought we were 59. 58 sounds right.
58. Last year we were at not that. Yeah, 357. So St. Thomas would, I guess, be the one that was added.
Nice.
Hartford. What happened to Hartford? Isn't Hartford going down? They made the tournament last year, and then
as a 16.
Yeah, there was a big
hoopla
about Hartford demoting their athletics to Division III. They're like, we don't want to be Division I anymore.
Because they want to dominate Division III.
Yeah. But whatever happened to that? Because people were pretty shitty about that, rightfully so.
I don't know. Jim, are you our Hartford correspondent? We need that update.
Is that still going to happen? It's just going to happen in a few years?
I think it's going to happen in a few years. But when you talk about Connecticut, I immediately go to number 23 on our list because it is year 4 at UConn for Dan Hurly.
I just want to say, for those of you that listen to the podcast, the look on Tate's face the first two. Never mind. Let's go to Dan Hurly.
Yeah, let's get out of St. Thomas talk. I'm sure the people at home.
Everybody's so excited to be like, can we please not talk about CAA?
No, let's go.
St. Thomas. For the love of God.
Let's get to number 23 on our list because UConn basketball, as we remember, I mean, this is a championship program. This is a borderline blue blood, and some would consider, friend of the program, Sean Hurley himself from UConn, from Connecticut, would say they are a blue blood. Now, I'm not sure I'm aligned with that necessarily, but I will say this. Dan Hurley, this is the time. The time is now. Last year going to the tournament, they were the sexy pick. They were the fun pick. We had Coach Hurley on the show. He kind of tried to get us off the scent a little bit with this team. Book night, top pick, goes to the Hornets. But how's
he doing, by the way?
Book night?
Yeah.
He's not in the rotation.
Ouch.
But the Hornets, best start in franchise history. 3-0, first time ever. We have
how many games are we into now?
Well, we've lost 4 in a row now. We're 5-6. We started out 3-0 though, and I think we all remember the good times.
The banner's still hanging.
House of Highlights still loves us.
Yeah.
So that's the good news. But UConn, now we're all eyes on UConn. We're all eyes on Dan Hurley. The honeymoon period is over. We expect wins at UConn. And this is the year that they have to make the leap. So I think, if anything, the pressure is turned up, and now we have eyeballs on them. And we need a team in the Big East to challenge Villanova. This is the year.
It is not UConn. It is going to be Xavier this year. I'm sorry to say. UConn.
You're probably right, but I'm putting the onus on Dan Hurley.
Listen, so it's year 4 for Dan Hurley. What does that mean, Tate? What is it? Because I heard you say those words. It's year 4 for Dan Hurley.
Year 4 is when the excuses are out the door because your guys are in, right? This is the classic when you're struggling early on when you take a job, right? The first year
1 is a free year.
Is a free year. Yes,
it's free.
Year 2,
it's like the COVID year. It's like it doesn't even
see
count.
The imprint, see if you see something. Year 3, that's kind of like, oh, this is who we are. Year 4, no more excuses. Your guys are in.
Yes,
this is your team. This is your vision. This is your culture.
Okay.
No time for caution, right?
Okay. Yeah.
We got to do something.
Yeah.
We got to make some noise.
And that's where Dan Hurley finds
That's where he
himself,
is.
where with basically the exact same team as they had last year, except
Without a lottery pick.
Without a lottery pick.
Which is
And
not necessarily great.
I was drinking the UConn Kool-Aid. I'm not gonna pretend like I wasn't. I will not gaslight.
Last year,
our
you're saying going
audience.
in the tournament?
Yes. I'm not gonna.
America was.
I know. I'm not gonna pretend like I wasn't. I'm just gonna point out to everybody that now that we've cooled down a little bit and we've had some time in the offseason, and I've had time to like really think about what last season was. I'm sorry to say, and this is me just reporting the facts, Tate, but UConn was not a very good basketball team last year. They weren't really that. The one tournament team they beat all last season was USC, at the start of December. Like it was their fourth game of the season or third game of something like that. They beat USC at Mohegan Sun, which is basically a home game for UConn.
Yep.
The rest of the season. They beat Georgetown. They beat Georgetown twice down the stretch because remember UConn wins like 4 straight going into the Big East tournament. 2 of those were against Georgetown. Georgetown ends up winning the Big East tournament. If Georgetown doesn't win the Big East tournament, the Big East is a 3-bid league with UConn, Creighton, and obviously Villanova. But Georgetown sneaks in. So, like, I guess they get credit for sweeping a tournament team because Georgetown went on a run and won the Big East tournament. But if you think back on UConn's season, the reason we talked about them so much was, number one, they were back in the Big East. Number two, James Bouknight would go nuclear, like, every 4 or 5 games. Against Creighton at home, he has 40.
Yeah, he went
They
off.
almost beat Creighton. They did not beat Creighton, Tate. They lost at home to Creighton. But because James Bouknight scored 40 and the game went to overtime, there was like good vibes about UConn basketball.
Yeah, I was gonna say
You know what I mean?
left that game thinking, okay, UConn right on the
So
door.
I don't mean to like crap all over UConn's parade. And if you're a UConn fan listening to this, just disregard what I'm saying because it doesn't matter. When the ball gets tipped, you go out and you win the games. I think UConn's going to be a great defensive team. Whaley's back, who's going to be maybe the best defender in the entire country this year. Acock, as we know, love that guy. He's going to be just, they're going to be a great defensive team, Tate. But my problem is that when I think back on it, I just was like buying into UConn back in the Big East hype, and I'm worried. That's all I'm saying is I'm worried that UConn actually isn't that great of a basketball team.
See,
this year we're gonna see that, and it's gonna be a bummer.
It's going to be a bummer, but I do have a little bit of hope because I believe in Hurly basketball magic, and that starts with their father, Bob Hurly, and it trickles down to them because this year they never played each other, by the way, the Hurly brothers, Dan and Bob. Yeah. They were assistants together at Wagner back in the day. And now they're obviously head coaches at different programs. But this year in the Battle for Atlantis, a tournament that you and I respect, have been there a few times, they are on opposite sides of the bracket, Titus. And if they both make it to the championship game, we get a Hurly versus Hurly showdown.
What could possibly
go wrong? And that could be great.
What could possibly go wrong?
Dan Hurly has taken a charge as a coach on the sideline. Bob Hurly has literally lost his mind as a coach on the sideline. Those two guys competing against each other. That's primetime television.
I hear what you're saying, and I guess all I'm saying is because I'm buying into it. I'm buying into the.
I'm saying.
Here's what I'm saying.
Here's what
I'm saying. You have been making the case for UConn basketball for however long we've been talking about them right now.
Honestly.
And
too long. Since Altery Gilbert was there.
Okay, but I'm saying right now, today, you've been talking about UConn for however long we've been talking about UConn. You have not mentioned a single thing about like on the
current
court.
team.
Yeah, like about the current team like being talented and like you believe that RJ Cole is going to average 20 a game.
I'm all
like
about
that.
the vibes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, and that's what I'm worried about because I think vibes can only take you so far. That's what I just like.
20 wins. Give me 20 wins, and I'm okay. I just need Dan Hurley to survive year 4 when the pressure and the expectations are on. Because I think he's good at UConn. You know what I mean?
I think so too. I want UConn to be good.
Year 4 is not good. We get 19 wins, and then the UConn elite say this isn't good enough. Yeah. This isn't UConn basketball. Right. We should hire Sean Miller.
Ooh.
Or we should hire Archie Miller. One of these situations happens.
What about both?
Both.
What about both at the same time?
They're starting a podcast, by the way. The Miller brothers.
Dude, how about you step all over point whatever?
Which one is that? Which one is that?
Is that not on the list?
It's not on the list. That can't be on the list. If it is on the list, we'll address it again. I just had to remind people.
Number 15.
It's number 15.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. Number 15 coming up. Can we go to 22?
Yeah, please.
Good tease.
Thanks, Jim. Because we got to ask Jim a question now. Number 22.
All right.
We're in Big East territory. Whoever made this list obviously loves the Northeast early on. Shout out to Hartford. I hope those guys figure it out, whether they're going to go D1 or D3 or whatever. Number 22 on the list. How back is St. John's, Jim?
They're back, like MJ in '95.
Okay. Well, when you talk about Big East programs, as we learned with UConn, and basically Villanova has carried the entire league.
Yes.
And I understand other schools have won the conference. Technically, this is like anytime I make the point that Villanova carries the league, then
because it hurts old Big East fans because you know in their minds Villanova is the little guy, the 1985 champion that upsets the juggernaut, Georgetown team.
Yeah.
So when you talk about Villanova as the top dog, you upset the old
people
Big
get
East.
Upset, and they like to point out that Villanova has not actually won every single Big East tournament title and Big East regular season title, even though it feels that way. But outside of Villanova, it feels like every other program that we talk about, we just have to talk about vibes because
it's remember when.
Yeah. So if it's an old Big East program, we're just talking about vibes. So that's what we want to do with you, Jim. How are the vibes? How are the St. John's vibes as a native New Yorker?
Carnesecca?
Yeah, the vibes are great. 2 days ago, the New York Post said that Luke Carnesecca was college basketball's most priceless treasure.
Wow.
So we're gonna play on that.
Wow. And
he looks great, by the way.
Coach
for
K's
his age. Was he 700?
Coach K's final season, and they say Luke Carnesecca is.
That's honestly
He's
a
the
major
Coach K
W.
of the Big East.
You think so?
Yeah, the Coach K of the East. Luke Carnesecca.
The East.
Coach K.
And then they have Mike Anderson coaching from the famous Nolan Richardson coaching tree.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Julian Champagny.
Champagny, baby.
Italian for champagne.
Yes. My second
Brooklyn.
favorite Champagny.
Yep. His brother, Justin, is on the Raptors.
Yes.
A two-way contract right now. His twin brother. So maybe if that doesn't work out, yes, the Wikipedia. If that doesn't work out, though, we switch them out. His brother's good enough to be in the Raptors. I don't know if they're identical twins, but whatever.
They're
we'll
close
make
enough.
it work. College basketball fans don't. Yeah.
They won't know.
No.
Don't pay enough attention.
And then, oh yeah, you like lineage with college basketball, like Bill and Luke Walton and Dell and Seth Curry. Their dad played soccer at St. John's.
Who did?
Champagny.
Oh, really?
Nice. Very Joakim Noah.
How did Justin go to Pitt? Was he supposed to go to St. John's?
Yeah. He got paid by.
They paid more.
Is that what it was?
And then Posh Alexander.
Yeah.
Amazing basketball player.
Yeah.
Big East Freshman of the Year.
Look at Jim.
Big East Co-Defensive Player of the Year. And only 3 other players have done that. Do you know who that is?
Who are the other ones, please?
Some guy named Allen Iverson.
Pretty good.
Alonzo Mourning.
Pretty good.
Wow.
And Patrick Ewing.
Wow.
Pretty
Posh
good.
Alexander joined that group?
Wow.
How about that?
Group was upset about that.
And he was named after a Spice Girl. Oh, and speaking of one last thing of names and lineage, you know what T-Jess's dad's name is?
Ooh.
Oh, no.
Hugh. Thank you.
Good job, Jim.
Good job, Jim.
Zero
tournament wins since 2000 for St. John's.
Zero tournament wins.
Zero tournament wins.
Oh, analytics.
Do you remember that year? St. John's, I had this thought as I was watching Purdue beat Michigan State in football, and they just kept talking about how Purdue is the one football program that's like never good enough to do anything, but they're always good enough to ruin everything for everybody. Yeah. I feel like St. John's is the Purdue football of college basketball. Like that's where the new era of St. John's basketball has arrived. Like they don't actually, they're most relevant when they're beating Villanova. And Villanova's randomly struggling. You turn on the TV on a random Saturday and you're like, Villanova's down 7 at halftime at St. John's? What's going on?
Especially when Shamari Pons was there, some of those games.
Do you remember the year? Yeah, was it the Pons teams a few years ago where they lost
beat Duke, right?
They lost like 11 or 12 in a row, and then they beat Duke and number 1 Villanova in back-to-back games.
Yeah.
And then they went back to doing nothing.
They're just primetime team.
St. John's is your team though, Jim.
Yeah, absolutely.
How
bright lights of the Mecca.
How big of a where does St. John's winning a national championship rank on your most desirable things you want out of
right behind
sports?
Duke and Coach K this year.
Cool.
Very New York basketball.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
The Mecca.
The Northeast.
Billy Joel. Raised the 47th
Someone was
banner.
very upset that they thought we were coming after Billy Joel. We have nothing bad to say about Billy Joel. People on Twitter, I'm like, we weren't saying anything bad about Billy Joel.
You got to stop. Look,
you don't have to tell me twice.
Billy Joel hive
people
after you?
Yeah, exactly. And I love Billy Joel. You're like, Billy Joel hive, calm down.
You got to stop. Giving. Never mind.
You just can't play the game.
Moving on. Let's talk about the Big East program that matters. Villanova. At number 21 on our list, Villanova is inevitable. And what I mean by that is that, Tate, as you think about this college basketball season, and I told you had to bet not on who's going to win the national title, but a team that's going to be a 1 or a 2 seed in the NCAA tournament. Is Villanova to you the safest bet? Or are you saying it's Kansas, Gonzaga, who else? Because all the talk about Villanova, as is every year, Like last year, Villanova was a 5 seed. They weren't that good. They couldn't play defense for shit. But everyone's forgot that because they brought back 4 starters and Jay Wright's still the coach. So you're just like, oh, Villanova, they're gonna be a 1 or a 2 seed. I really love Villanova. Do you think Villanova is inevitable? That Villanova will win the Big East like they always do? There will be a 1 or a 2 seed like they always are, even though they weren't last year. Is that your read on this situation?
Yes, Colin Gillespie is going to get people. They're going to be so messed up that it's like if Villanova. It'd be like if Ohio State had another Aaron Kraft come. You know what I mean? And everyone's like, is that not Aaron Kraft? You know what I mean? So Gillespie is Archie Diacono 2.0, and then it's going to throw them off even more that they have another Archie Diacono on their team. So in general, this Villanova team is going to bring up 2016, 2018 type of vibes. They're kind of like the San Francisco Giants, you know, when they were winning like 2014, 2016.
Even years.
Every even year.
Even year bullshit is what they call it. Yeah.
Well,
I'm not kidding. It's like that's the hashtag EYBS. Yeah.
Well, that is literally
EYBS is Villanova.
Madison Bumgarner is insert the point guard of Villanova, and that is who this team is. I think that they are built for a March run. They are obviously a Final Four caliber team. They have who we would consider probably the best coach in college basketball, all things considered, right?
Mm-hmm. Pound for pound, you're saying?
Pound for pound. I mean, not even like you look at legacy guys that obviously can't coach the game anymore. Someone like Coach K, who's not tapped into the game. Sorry, I'm just doing this to make Jim upset.
He's more than a coach, so it doesn't matter.
In general, but Jay Wright is the guy with Villanova, and you know that is why you have to bet on them. There's no reason to bet against them. It's similar to Virginia. A lot of people are like, Virginia, there's no way they could win the ACC. Yes, they could. I mean, they have the program to do that, and they're going to be in every game, and they figure out how to win games that they shouldn't win. That's Villanova's MO. And even though they were a 5 seed last year, they're a 1 or 2 lock this year.
You think they're a 1 or 2 lock?
1 or 2
Would you say
a 1 seed really?
Like
in my mind.
in all honesty, the way I asked the question, if you had a gun to your head, and you're like, you have to pick a team that's going to be a 1 or a 2 seed in the NCAA tournament. How cool?
Gonzaga is number 1, and then Villanova's my number 2. Yeah.
I think Gonzaga and then Kansas, like they're all kind of.
Kansas, I love Kansas. I'm waffling because of this whole Bill Self beef. I don't like the beef.
Oh, with
Ring Martin.
Yeah,
I can't dive in and be assured in that decision. There's going to be no problems with Gillespie and Jay Wright, right? The only thing that would hold back this Villanova team would be injury. And a guy like Brandon Slater, you know, he's going to take the leap this year, right? So there's other guys that you might not be so familiar with that you're going to look at this team and say, wow, they have a lot of talent. And, they're a really good team. They're a lock 1 or 2 seed.
They're a lock 1 or 2. I would agree with that.
Yeah,
I think Gonzaga's probably. I mean, the only argument against Gonzaga being a 1 or a 2 is if you worry. Gonzaga has a tough non-conference schedule. If you worry that they like trip up, you know, they lose to UCLA and Duke or something. Number 20 on the list, Tate. I have this question I want to pose to you. Are we sure it's a guards game? Steph Curry invented the 3-point shot in 2016, as we know. It's a copycat sport, basketball. Everyone's been copying what Steph Curry did for the Golden State Warriors.
3's more than 2.
They've decided to go small ball. They've decided to shoot 3s. Basketball as we know it will never return to the old days of the big man. And then you look up in 2021, 2022 season in college basketball, Tate, and we might be in a situation. The preseason team was not the case, but the postseason All-American team might be 5 big guys. That is realistic. That this year we could have 5, like nothing but power forwards and centers on the All-American team by the end of the season.
Because if we run through it, I mean, you got Paolo Banchero, who's probably number 1 on your list right now. If you want to go to other freshmen, because the freshmen get some love, Jalen Duren's going to be on that list, obviously. We have Hunter Dickinson. We have Kofi Coburn. We have
Drew Timme, Chet Holmgren,
Trace Jackson Davis,
E.J. Liddell, Travion Williams,
yes.
The Armando Bacot, Garrison Brooks,
Walker
Kessler,
no.
For example.
We
can throw those guys in the mix. So Juzang and Johnny Juzang and Colin Gillespie were preseason first-team AP All-Americans, and they're good players. But when you look at the overall vibe of what college basketball is this year, I would say that the big man is reigning supreme. Would you not? Or is that,
I agree with that.
Is that just Big Ten bias talking? Because the Big Ten, that is certainly the case. But I feel like that's true across the country. I feel like Gonzaga, when you make the case of why Gonzaga should be number 1, it's Drew Timme and Chet Holmgren. Those are the first 2 names out of your mouth, and those are not their guards. That's not their point guard.
No, but even though Chet Holmgren he's kind of like compared to Kevin Durant, so he has guard skills, but he's a big man. which is always hard to really process. Like, because, the smalls and the bigs are always in competition. Who's getting the credit for what's going on here?
Is Kevin Durant a big man is what you're asking?
That's the question. He's not, but
he's a tall man.
He's a tall man. He's not a big. Kevin Durant is not a big, but Giannis, you could argue to me that he is a big, right? You know what I mean?
Is LeBron a big?
I think LeBron's a big. No, I'm kidding. I think LeBron's a guard. But it's hard because you don't know. It could be either one. You can make the argument. But I think this is the year that we all come together and say you have to have bigs in basketball. We have to get the game recentered, pun intended, and that's what we do this year in college basketball.
So there it is. In 2012, the top five, the 5 All-Americans, we were all big dudes. I just want to remind everybody of that. 10 years ago.
Anthony Davis.
Can you name them? Anthony Davis is one.
Thomas Robinson's one. Oof.
Keep going.
I know. That's why I'm like, these are the 2 that I remember that year. That was the national championship team. John Henson. Is Tyler Zeller's on that list?
No, Tyler Zeller's not on that list.
Disrespect.
Jared Solinger's on that list.
Ugh.
Draymond Green's on that list.
Draymond's a good one.
Doug McDermott's on that list.
Oh, my God. No wonder I forgot Doug McDermott.
You're laughing at Doug McDermott?
Creighton killed me that year.
Oh, okay. I got you.
That's why. It's personal.
Yeah.
It's not because, again, nothing against Doug McDermott or Greg McDermott. Maybe towards Greg more so than Doug. That's a good list, though. That's a good 5. That could be similar to this year as far as talent.
Yeah, I mean, if you're handicapping the All-American race, I certainly expect more big guys to be in the hunt than guards, which is interesting. Yeah, because it is a guards game, but is it? I guess is the question. That's the question we were posing. Speaking of guards, number 19 on our list is the Greg Gard, Alondo Tucker fallout.
That was a good transition.
I am curious to see what happens in Wisconsin. There's a lot going on for being kind of an irrelevant basketball team this year. Probably Wisconsin will be. No disrespect to Wisconsin, but you're probably not going to be super relevant this year. There's a lot going on with Wisconsin with Buzzcut Brad back for his 6th year, 7th year, whatever it is, and then Greg Gard, Alondo Tucker in the offseason. Tate is a story that we loved. And we love it more now because I'm still not exactly sure what happened. If you missed the story, there was a tape that was leaked to the Milwaukee Sentinel-Journal. Is that the newspaper?
Yeah, I think so.
That there was a conversation between Greg Gard and the players that was not exactly the most glowing in terms of like chemistry amongst the team at Wisconsin. And it was also edited, which was interesting to everybody. We talked about it for a couple shows. I think we got some good run out of it.
The gist of it was that Alondo Tucker was kind of angling to be the head coach, right?
That was the theory.
That's the theory, yeah.
And then Alondo Tucker came out, put a statement out that was like, not only did I do this, he's like, in fact, when I came to Madison, I didn't even want to coach basketball. I have no interest, like, because everyone was like, Alondo Tucker was trying to form a coup to take over Greg Gard's job. And then Alondo Tucker's like, not only do I not want Greg Gard's job, I don't even want to be I don't even want to coach. I don't want to be here.
He called it quote unquote mistaken assumptions.
Yes. And then he put out a statement about he defined on Twitter what spin is and how people will spin things and it's propaganda and I don't know. So I was left more confused because I was like Alondo Tucker's not coaching anywhere, is he? I don't think he has any. Maybe I don't know whether that's true or not. I mean, I think like there is a world where Alondo Tucker he did record this. He was trying to form a coup. He got caught, and then now he's pretending he just like nuked his entire career and he's pretending like he never wanted to be a coach. But I love that. If that is in fact the case, I love that that's the path he went down. That he was like, I have no interest. Not only did I not do it, like if you asked me to be the head coach of Wisconsin, I would say no. Yeah. I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here. You can't kick me out. I don't even want to be here. I quit.
Yeah. Bo Ryan's coming back
Is he
Friday
really?
to the Kohl Center. Yeah. That's the big news that he's going to get like his little moment in the sun there. So, I mean, Wisconsin's trying to bring the mojo back, but there's too much distraction with this program. And even with Buzzcut Brad, who's been, created some continuity, obviously they killed North Carolina in the tournament. They have some positives that they can bring from last season, but it doesn't feel like we're talking about anything basketball related because of this off the court stuff.
This is what I think. I'm landing on this as my final theory as to what happened. I think this was a false flag by Greg Gard. I think Greg Gard recorded the meeting himself. I think he leaked it himself, even though it makes him look bad, quote unquote. And then I think he planted the story that someone else recorded, like someone was trying to sabotage him.
Who would have thought that the whole offseason would have been like people recording each other and like blackmail?
So my theory is that he did that so then that way everyone would feel bad for him that his staff is trying to undermine him, and then he would rally. The support for him would rally together because the Greg Gard support has been fractured. Even though, as you said, Wisconsin won in NCAA, they ended Roy Williams last year. They ended Roy Williams' career. They won the Big Ten in 2020. Yeah. Greg Gard's had like he went to 2 Sweet 16s out of the gate when he took over at Wisconsin. He's had like a few highlights, Tate, and I think he was this is a false flag operation where he was trying to just like garner support from everybody to be like, we can't fire Greg Gard. Look how his own coaching staff was treated. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So now everyone rallies behind Greg Gard, and they're like, I hope Greg Gard proves Alonzo Tucker wrong and kills it this year. And, yeah.
Which is weird because, we had some experiences way before this, 2 or 3 years prior, where we had heard some things about, some players and some resentment with the coaching staff and some not so great things about Greg Gard. But then we heard some other things that were like, that's not true. Greg Gard's actually, it's been a lot of mixed reviews that have come out of the Greg Gard era, so to speak. And I do think he's trying to nip it in the bud, but...
We'll see.
We'll see. Yeah,
we'll see.
They're literally the we'll see program. And to be honest, like, how much are we going to really tap in if they're not good, right? We will with Buzzcut Brad, but that's about it.
They're not going to be. I don't know. It's Wisconsin back. They're back to like, I don't know.
There's a lot of people that want us to do good guy, bad guy, Brad guy, so that we can keep Buzzcut
Brad
and
Brad?
Brad Calipari into the fold, which I'm a fan of. Not a bad idea.
We'll consider it.
We'll consider it.
Yeah. That's not a bad idea.
I need Brad to be the one that recorded it, by the way. I want Buzzcut Brad to come on our show and say, I actually am the one who recorded it.
Who recorded it? I think that's the question.
Brad.
Who recorded?
Brad.
Released the tape.
Let's just report here that it was Brad.
The tape has been released, Tape. We want the tapes released. But now we need to know who recorded the tapes.
Co-sign your tapes. Yes.
Put a name on your tapes.
Yes.
What's next on our list?
Number 18, and this is a big one because he snubbed Coach K in Duke, and he was supposed to be a 5-star who went to go play for the Blue Devils to play along.
Why do you keep looking at Jim, by the way?
Because I know how much Jim loves Coach K, so I'm just like, every time I throw a little
Everybody
shot.
does.
That's why my mom has to take you to dinner to explain it, Jim. She wants to explain to you what Coach K is, who he is. Number 18 on the list, Patrick Baldwin Jr., playing for his dad at UW Milwaukee. Do we care? Is the question. 5-star Patrick Baldwin Jr. If you didn't see this story, he said, I'm not going to go play for Duke. I'm not going to play for the Blue Bloods. I'm going to play for my dad. And then he said that he wanted to do this in Milwaukee because of Giannis Antetokounmpo. That was
Did he really say that?
Yeah, that was his motivation.
That's bullshit.
He said, I saw what Giannis brought to the city of Milwaukee, and I want to do the same. That's what he said.
I mean, like, I know he said it, but like, come on.
That's what he said.
That's not true.
He doubled down. He doubled just like Giannis did. He doubled down and said, I'm a Milwaukee guy. I love Milwaukee. He said, actually, it wasn't just Giannis. He said Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Giannis were the two reasons he went to go play for UW in Milwaukee.
I'm going to translate that for you. What he meant to say was,
this is good for the brand.
I want to play for my dad because I can shoot 40 shots a game, and he's not going to say shit to me because we're not going to be a very good basketball team, and I can do whatever I want. And also, I love my dad, and it'll be fun to just like hang out and be BFF. And I'm going to the NBA anyway, so who cares? That was his statement, and I think it got put through the PR machine, and it came out as, I want to be the next Giannis or whatever it is you just said.
The next Giannis.
Do you care how many over under 9.5 minutes of UW Milwaukee basketball you will watch this season, assuming they don't make the NCAA tournament? Here's their non-conference schedule. I'll give you some non-conference games to note. November 18th. That's coming up now.
I'm watching that.
At Florida.
I'm watching that.
I think I'm watching that if it's on TV. But is it going to be on TV? It's going to be on like SECNetworkPlus.com or something.
Get on the apps. Start streaming.
For $19.95 a month, you can subscribe to watch Patrick Baldwin versus the Florida Gators. Robert Morris at home on December 4th is on ESPNU. That one's on television.
If it's on TV, I'm watching. He's must-see TV. Anyone?
I don't believe you. I do not believe you.
You know why I'm saying this is because I really want to see the draftniks, the experts, so to speak, that have watched his tape and will they have watched more of him at UW Milwaukee and more of Luka Doncic in the EuroLeague? That will be the real question for me to see how they stand on Patrick Baldwin.
Because he's going to be like a top 10 guy, lottery
pick.
Top
10 pick, yeah.
Probably a top 10 guy is what they're saying.
I've seen him as high as 6. I've seen him as low as 13, 14.
Interesting, but he's lottery though.
He's a lottery guy.
All right.
He's supposed to be a lottery guy. You know how this works.
The other game you could check him out at Colorado. Colorado. Why do I say?
They say Rado. I think they say Rado.
Colorado. December 10th. They're playing at Colorado, UW Milwaukee. So those would be like the three.
That's a Pac-12 update.
Yeah, those are the 3 non-conference games you might be able to check. I don't know if that one's on TV either. That's probably on Pac-12 Network. So that's on the surfing channel.
Patrick Baldwin Jr. also said his favorite team to play with on 2K, Charlotte Hornets. We're not worried about him in college basketball. But he's just playing for the next level. And like you said, get your shots with your dad. I mean, I played for my dad. My dad was my coach in baseball and basketball at different times in my life. I love playing for my dad.
If your dad was coaching to Division I, if your dad was the head coach,
I would have no choice.
Really?
No choice.
If your dad's the head coach at Eastern Carolina and the Tar Heels offer you, where are you going?
I mean, I would have no choice. I would, in my heart of hearts, I would think that I was going to go to North Carolina.
If your dad's a head coach at Duke and North Carolina offers you a scholarship to play at North Carolina,
my dad would never sell a soul.
Where are you going? Where are you going?
Never sell a soul. Yeah, I couldn't do that. I couldn't sell my soul either. I couldn't do it.
Moving on, number 17 on our list. This is a big question. This is on everyone's mind. How many NCAA tourney bids are the A-10 getting this year? Why are you laughing, dude? You know how much damage control we're going to have to do as a podcast after this one? Explaining to people that we don't hate the small schools?
No,
every mention of any small school, you've laughed.
This is the top 25 storylines of the season, so I love that the A-10's coming in hot here, and everyone's saying, how many bids can they get, right? People are outside yelling at us as we walk into the lot. They're like, how many bids will the A-10 get? I think it's a great question. Obviously, they have the Bonnies, right? That we start
the Bonnies
there.
Would be the one. So here's like the reason I bring up the question. I'm not optimistic. I think they might be a 1-bid league.
See, I like Richmond, so they're a 2-bid league to me.
Yeah.
Richmond is going to make the tournament.
The A-10, I wrote this down because I forget this all the time. In 2014, the A-10 got 6 bids. That sounds insane.
That sounds insane.
It happened. It happened.
Because for the people at home, VCU is in that, right? I mean, so you got
St.
Richmond,
Louis.
VCU, St. Louis, Bonnies.
Davidson. They probably weren't back then, though, in 2014. Were they? They weren't A-10 yet.
No.
Dayton's
in there.
Yeah.
Dayton has a shot this year, right? I mean, they're not going to be great, but they have a shot to make the tournament. I'm not going to say they're going to make. So they're in the conversation, right? 4 bids, right? That's what
you're saying. 4 bids
at most. 4 bids.
This feels like the challenge where you like I can name that tune in 1 note or something, or if you can say how many notes. You're like, how low can you go?
I mean,
I said, give me 4 bids. I'm gonna do.
I'll take 4 bids.
I think it's 2 bids. But
who's your second bid? Not Richmond.
I think St. Bonaventure is going to get upset in the. I think the Bonnies are the only auto bid, and then they're going to get upset.
I agree with that. I think Bonnies.
Whoever wins the conference tournament.
Richmond wins the tournament.
Richmond gets in because it's auto bid.
By the way,
St. Bonaventure.
A lot of Richmond, friends of the program. Some former alumnus. They want us to come to the VCU Richmond game this year.
When is it?
It's in February, but January or February.
Is it?
Yeah. So they want us to be there. And one of the best rivalries in college basketball, for people that don't know this, Richmond, VCU, obviously when Shaka Smart was there, it was probably more of a draw, so to speak, but always a great game. A lot of bad blood between both programs. So
I'm pulling up. Richmond at VCU, February 18th. Oh, they play twice, because they're both in the A-10, so they got to play twice. That takes away from it a little bit. I got to be honest.
No, it's Carolina Duke.
I know, but you can't be in the same city and play twice.
Oof.
If you're in the same city, you got to play once.
No, it's a lot of heat up there.
You got to play once if you're in the same
Richmond's
city.
a good town too. Jim, you like Richmond? We should go.
All that's fine and well. I'm not disagreeing with any of that. I'm saying if you're in the same city, you should only play once.
I like twice.
You should only play once. What else is on the list, Tate?
Number 6.
My God. When will we get to? Is this it? This has your attention?
I think this has.
Okay.
Everything has had my attention so far. Like even though I'm laughing, I'm having a lot of fun. Number 16, Kyle Smith's Moneyball experiment at Washington State, and this is a lot of people were excited about analytics in college basketball. Kyle Smith is the face of analytics.
You put this one on the list. Explain this.
I read all the previews of everything, sporting news, whatever site, and you go through these, you read the previews, and I kept seeing Kyle Smith Moneyball, and I'm like dying, because we do the Pac-12 update. I like Kyle Smith. I like what he's been able to do at Washington State.
Do you?
I do. I mean, I appreciate what he's doing. He's trying to turn that program around. But I had no idea that he had the greatest card that you can play on the media, in my opinion, is the Moneyball card, right?
Yeah.
You say we're investing in analytics, we're building a data department out, and immediately the media is on your side. And Kyle Smith has played this card to perfection. As you know, we both worked at The Ringer. The 2 best movies of all time, according to The Ringer, Social Network, Moneyball.
Yes.
And that's what the general media thinks. And
yes.
no one knows why, but I guess they have the data to prove it. And Facebook has their data, so maybe there's some blackmail extortion situation going on for them to say that Social Network's the best movie of the century. I don't know. But anyways, Moneyball hits, and it hits the right chord, and Kyle Smith is playing it, and he is singing it, and he's strumming it, and I don't even understand it, right? Because I'm reading into it, I'm like, it sounds like he just got like an analytics department, basically. But it's leading to success.
I saw the article.
It's winning us over.
What was it? Sports Illustrated had an article about everywhere.
Any outlet.
I read a Sports Illustrated article because you put this on the list, and I was like,
you were like, I gotta go check this out.
I was like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Washington State Moneyball. And there was this quote in the Sports Illustrated article. Wazoo junior guard Noah Williams confirms what appears obvious based on only cursory Google Earth search. On a cursory Google Earth search, quote, there's literally nothing to do in Pullman. That's a quote from one of their better players.
Analytics.
And so I think what Moneyball means here is that it's impossible to recruit people here. Washington State is a garbage program in the eyes of many because there's nothing to do in Pullman. They don't give a lot of money to their basketball program. It is not a priority to Washington State. And if you can find like the tiniest bit of success, a la Dick Bennett, Tony Bennett, then you can get an ACC job, I guess. I don't know. What is the lesson we're learning here?
I think the lesson is if you say Moneyball, the people love it. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to get picked up. And Kyle Smith, like you said, Washington State, it's not like they don't have history of good players coming there and, you know, some success, but at the same time, it's a tough sell. It's a tough sell. It's a tough sell. But he comes back. Clay comes back. So, I mean, at least that's something. Right?
Yeah.
They got something to sell. And now they got Moneyball. I don't get it. I don't know if it's going to lead to success, but they look like a fun team this year. Shout out to Kyle Smith. Number 16 on the list, Pac-12 update. That's pretty good.
All right, but let's get through the This is falling apart. What time's the Champions Classic start? Can we just run?
I can't wait to
run
watch.
the tape. Number 15. We asked this question: what is next for the Miller brothers? And then we found out an answer this morning. Tate, they have a podcast on because who doesn't? Are we on the Dowster Goodman network? We don't know it. Is everybody on that?
I think every other college-related podcast is.
What the hell?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we want to know what Archie and Sean are up to. They apparently are starting a podcast where they're going to talk about God knows what. That's not the move. First of all, we're going to start there. Yeah,
that's not the move. Yeah.
What is the move for the Miller brothers?
The move was to get out of the way. The move was to go away. The move was to make people want you, right? And I think that was. I thought that Sean was doing that because he was like going to the NBA, right? He was going to consult with the NBA.
We thought he was going to do Kelvin Sampson move.
Exactly.
Where you go.
That's the move.
You go to the NBA.
That's
everyone in college forgets about you. When you come back, the climate has changed. The temperature, as they say these days about politics stuff, like you got to cool the temperature.
Eric Musselman did this. He got away from the pressures of the NBA gig. He went to the G League. He hid out for a little while. When he comes back, boom, back on the scene. Nobody remembers.
Yep. Yeah,
that's the move.
That's
always.
The move.
This is way too forward-facing, and you and I know this. You start talking on a podcast, you start maybe saying things that aren't necessarily supposed to be said, especially if you're a guy like Sean Miller, who probably has lots of things that have not been said that are on your chest. You know,
I wouldn't worry about that. I would because Sean and Archie. The reason this is not the move to me is that they have never at any point in time struck me as media types.
No.
They have not been good interviews.
No.
They have not been like the only time they're interesting in press conferences is when they're trying to be so not interesting.
Yes.
And that's what makes it interesting as to how boring this is. And
I never have and I never will.
Yeah.
Sean Miller.
Yeah. So I don't think you have to worry about Sean Miller saying too much. In fact, I don't think he's going to say much of anything at all.
What's the name of their show, by the way? Miller Time?
I don't know.
That's got to be Miller Time.
Who cares?
I can't believe they're doing a podcast. I mean, sincerely, the last coach that we had do a podcast was Rick Pitino.
Yeah.
After everything.
No, Coach
happened.
K had one, didn't he? Coach Cal had the Calcast.
Like, they're still. I'm talking about like post downfall. Podcast was their next alternative
to repair the image. Move was Rick Pitino,
and that was with Casamigos branded. That was with like great stories about George Clooney.
Yeah,
that was a hit.
Yeah,
you know, and you and I listened to that. We had a great time.
He had like 3 episodes.
Yeah, we listened to it. It was fun.
And he got hired to coach basketball in Greece.
So like,
he went to Greece, dude.
He's back.
He did 3 episodes and they got hired to coach basketball.
He's like,
I'm
done. Poor Casamigos, like, we made this investment, now we get nothing for this. But I don't know who they're angling for here. Like, you know what I mean? Are you trying to get college fans to then yell to their boosters that they need to hire you? Is that the plan?
We gotta move on from that. Let's take a break. We'll come back and we'll talk about actual basketball because who cares? Like the Miller, like I was curious to see how the Miller brothers are gonna pop up, and then seeing them, that's not the move. That's not what I was hoping for. Are
you disappointed?
I'm very disappointed.
Me too.
Yeah, whoever's advising the Miller, like this was not the move in terms of like getting back your foot, because like Archie's move is 100% go get a job at a tiny ass school in North Carolina. And wait for the NC State job to open. That's the move.
Just wait for the NC State job. Just wait.
Maybe, yeah.
Just wait.
Sean,
1 or 2 years.
Like Archie doesn't have to repair his image.
No.
Sean has to repair. Like no one's gonna want to hire Sean, per se. If you give it time and you work, you have to repair the image. Archie doesn't really have to repair. He just kind of has to like wait and take the right job at the right time.
And the right job, like you said, is NC State. Because do you know what NC State fans love more than hating North Carolina? Everett Case. And Everett Case coached the hotshot Hoosiers at Indiana, and then he came down south and coached at NC State, and then he recruited Storm Norman Sloan, and then Norm Sloan took over after him, and he was his point guard. Archie Miller is a point guard on NC. I mean, he would be beloved at NC State. Beloved.
At
NC State.
Let's take a break. We'll come back and get through this together. I swear we can get through this.
We're so close.
All right, number 14 on the list, Tate. I thought this would be funny. I was thinking of a fun little prank because Mike Boynton has shot up my power rankings very quickly of coaches that I that are beloved, as you said, about Archie Miller. Coaches that I go to war for. Mike Boynton. He was on the show, wasn't he, during the NCAA tournament?
He was great.
Yeah, we had a good time.
He told us not to jinx him.
Yeah, that's right. And then we did.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they lost to Oregon State.
Yeah.
They had the Final Four.
But turns out it wasn't
there.
a jinx because Oregon State was better than people thought, right?
They had the Final Four right in front of them because they had to beat Oregon State. Yeah. They would have had to beat Oregon State. Mm-hmm. No. Yeah. Oregon State. No, they lost to Oregon State in the Sweet 16.
They would have beat
right?
Houston. Had to play.
They would have played Oregon State, then like Loyola, then Houston or something like that to get to the final. Oh, my God, dude.
With Cade. With the number 1 pick.
Oh, no.
After they dodged
blew it.
the ban of this now that they're dealing with now. I mean, they skated it last year.
They skated it last year. They did not skate it this year. And so I was thinking to myself, you know what would be funny as a little zinger, a little prank, a little gotcha on the NCAA? What if Oklahoma State went undefeated this year?
Oof.
Wouldn't that be good? They should try to do that. I don't know if Mike Boynton's considered that. Yeah. Don't you think so? Jim, is that a good idea? Like if you're Oklahoma State, like... Because you're kind of
in the locker room. He's like, guys, I got a good idea.
No, you're kind of powerless. You're like, I mean, like they banned us from the NCAA tournament. Like, how do we fight back? What if you just went undefeated? I don't know.
Then you're champs.
Smart.
That's what I would do. And then like now you're champs. Now you can hang a banner. No one can tell you shit. I don't know. Just something to consider. So I put that at number 14.
I like it.
I like that a lot. And he also said, like they're mad, right? I mean, that was the whole point. Mike Boynton did this press conference. He calls out the NCAA and says, we're mad and we're going to play angry. So the best way to take out that rage is to go undefeated.
What if JMU and Oklahoma State just play a best-of-7 series at the end of the year?
Okay.
And
then winner crowns themselves national champs.
Yeah.
It's a very Butler situation, 1924. They just hang the banner. And they say, we are the champs.
You do not forget a single slight against North Carolina that's ever existed.
1924 Butler. I can't believe they hung a banner.
There's not a person on planet Earth that knows that Butler won the 1924.
There's not a person still alive.
There's not a person.
No,
there's not a Butler fan on Earth that knows that they have a banner hanging.
I can't believe they have a banner hanging.
But Tate remembers it because he walked in and saw it. It was like, you can't do that.
No, you can't. You can't.
Did North Carolina win the 24 NCAA tournament?
Yes, we claimed that.
Okay. There's an NCAA tournament in 1924?
Actually, we don't claim it. The Helms fan, whatever they are, Helms Foundation.
Oh, my God. Get me through this last 13. Number 13 on our list. I want to. This is more of a PSA than anything else. The SEC is actually a great basketball conference now, Tate. And I think people need to understand that because it happened, I wouldn't say quickly. It really feels like Nate Oates and Eric Musselman are the final guys that pushed this over the edge, that made this a reality, that the SEC is like a legitimate...
They got the coaches.
Because for the longest time in college basketball, and you know this, the SEC was Kentucky. Then Florida, then Billy Donovan gets to Florida, and it's now Kentucky and Florida. Then Tennessee was like relevant for, like the Bruce Pearl era was obviously good, and Rick Barnes has had good teams, and Tennessee is in the mix. And then other than that, it's like certain teams sprinkled out throughout, like Arkansas, as we know, won a title in 94. LSU has had good teams, good players throughout the years. But it's been like but like by and large, when you're talking about the conference, it's obviously Kentucky.
Yeah.
And then there was Florida. And then it was just kind of like, who's the third best team, I guess. Like
it's a one-team or two-team league, usually.
Yes. Yeah. That's how we've always thought about the SEC. And now in 2021, we've arrived at a point where the SEC is very, very deep. The SEC is very, very good. And the SEC is also investing a ton of money, a ton of attention into being a great basketball conference. And that's exactly what they are. And you look at like the landscape of how many of these teams could make the NCAA. So the last 3 tournaments, they got 8 bids 3 years ago, 4 years ago, whatever it was. The last 3 tournaments, they got 8 bids, 7 bids, and they got 6 bids last year. This year, I don't know. Kentucky's making it probably. We'll talk about Kentucky more in a second. Tennessee's making it, right?
Tennessee's
Arkansas, Bama, Auburn.
Yeah.
Florida is, like
they're like on the line.
They'll make it. LSU. Yeah. Mississippi State, like all these teams, they could conceivably get it 7, 8, 9 bids, whatever it is, which isn't groundbreaking, Like I know the Big East got a ton the 1 year, and the Big Ten's gotten 10 or whatever 1 year. But for the SEC, that's pretty crazy to think about that. Like every single year we're going into a season now, and you're like, yeah, the SEC has like 3 or 4 teams that can make a Final Four, which is usually not how it works.
Yeah, and it usually doesn't work that way in recruiting too. Like that's the big difference.
They're killing recruiting.
Yeah, like
they killed the NBA draft. This past draft we had, exactly. It was like half the first round was SEC guys.
I mean, Bruce Pearl being in a ditch, for Isaac Okoro being picked to the Cavs with the 6th pick or whatever it was. I mean, that was a moment in time that kind of signaled a watershed moment a little bit in the SEC. I mean, they are a basketball conference. They are investing, like you said, into basketball. Their fans know that it's worth their time. The juice is worth the squeeze if we really want to be a great program. You look at Alabama. They love Nate Oates. They're like,
yes,
we are all about this. Arkansas, I mean, of course, they
Alabama's
love
a basketball school, as first reported on Titus and Tate.
We told Jim Cunningham that last week. Auburn, I mean, they are all in on Bruce Pearl. They love Bruce Pearl. They love Walker Kessler. They love what they're doing there. And obviously with Sharif Cooper and some of these guys they brought in, Isaac Okoro, like I just said. So in general, the SEC is here to party.
If you're I'm trying to think through like SEC fandoms. If I'm a fan of these programs, who am I not happy about like right now? Who is saying like I don't like the direction of our program?
Georgia
definitely.
I mean, Vanderbilt can't really say that because they have Jerry Stackhouse. So like Vanderbilt would be an answer, but
Florida,
I don't think so.
Florida definitely.
Florida's probably upset.
Georgia.
Yep.
Missouri made the tournament. Missouri was good. They're going to be garbage this year, I think. But Missouri, you kind of you know your place.
I think Missouri's more about football. Seriously, I mean, weirdly enough.
So. But I don't think Missouri's going to be very good this year. So Missouri's a proud basketball program.
Traditionally, yeah.
I'm sure they're fine.
They'll be all right.
South Carolina's not very good. Have we lost? Has Frank Martin lost the ship?
See, I think Frank Martin making that Final Four gave him like a 5 to 10 year window of.
But wasn't the
2017 Final Four
for 5 years?
You know what I'm saying? I think like right now is when it comes back around. Like they've let him slide for 5 years, and now Frank probably gets the conversation again.
Mississippi State is happy though.
Very happy.
They're loving where they're at. LSU fans are delighted. Beloved, as you said. Will Wade is beloved by LSU fans. Obviously, Arkansas and Bama fans are going nuts.
They're the 1-2 of like hype, and maybe Auburn's right up there too.
Yeah, in terms of like our coach can do no wrong.
Exactly.
We
expect to win national championships.
Eric Musselman can sign a guy who's like a 2.5-star recruit. And if he makes a video of him losing his mind at his house and popping champagne bottles, Arkansas fans will go nuts.
Crazy.
Just be like, I can't believe we got this kid. And it's like Eric Musselman's son is like walking onto the team or something. Like, but they don't care. They're like, we got another one. Let's go. Kentucky fans? I don't know. We'll talk. Save Kentucky. We're gonna talk about Kentucky in a second.
That's a different conversation.
We're gonna talk about Kentucky in a
second. They might be in the Georgia. Yeah.
So SEC killing it. SEC's awesome, which brings us to point number 12.
You've been waiting to get this point off the entire show.
I need you to defend your conference.
I won't defend it.
At number 12, things we're monitoring. People are saying the ACC is dying, Tate. You're hearing it more and more. The ACC last year, as a reminder, Virginia won the league. Literally nobody remembers that because nobody watched ACC basketball last year. Duke loses 2 games at home. Coach K tries to cancel the entire season. Jalen Johnson opts out of the season for Duke. Carolina was an absolute mess. In the end, the ACC's best the best seed they get in the NCAA tournament, Virginia and Florida State each get 4 seeds. We're now coming into the following season, Tate. Duke is the only team in the top 15, top 16, where do you want to draw the line? 18? Don't do it at 19 because that's where Carolina is. In the AP poll, there's only one team in the ACC that's like that people think has any shot at winning a national title. It's Duke. The ACC has
which is even more ridiculous.
2 of the last 12 Big Ten ACC challenges have been won by the ACC. After winning 10 in a row to start the event, they've won 2 of the last 12. Is the ACC dying? Are we seeing the final that Coach K's retiring? Roy Williams
I need the
is
John
out.
Morant jersey when it was like F12. Like that's my thoughts on this number 12. That's what
Make the case.
No, I mean, look, the ACC is obviously the best basketball conference, has always been. There's no, we win national championships. We have the best players to ever play the game. But you're right. Last year was abysmal. And not having Roy Williams, the best coach in the conference for the past decade, hurts. And Tony Bennett has a lot of pressure on him to kind of keep things going because Coach K, he's leaving us, you know. And now Leonard Hamilton, Jim Boeheim, Mike Bray. I mean, these are the tier 2, tier 3 guys that are now bumping up to tier 1. It's not a promising situation. You know what I mean? And I think what this season has to be for the ACC is guys like Hubert Davis, right, have to make their stamp on the league. They have to. And if they don't, then they're really in trouble.
How do you make your stamp? How does the conference as a whole?
You wreck Purdue.
Because I know that
you wreck Villanova. Like, you win out-of-conference games. Like, you win games that you haven't been winning.
You're talking about North Carolina. We're going to talk about North Carolina.
No, I'm just saying.
You're talking about North Carolina. I'm talking about the whole ACC.
Yeah. Well, the ACC is dictated by North Carolina and Duke.
Okay. So your plan to fix the ACC is just North Carolina be good.
Be great. No, not be good. Be great. That's the fix, is to be great.
If North Carolina is great, you think that fixes all the
everything.
ACC? Okay,
yeah, it's trickle down economics.
That's shocking that you came to that conclusion.
It's trickle down economics from the top. North Carolina, Duke, they do well. But the unfortunate part this year, you mentioned that Duke is the only team in national title conversations early on.
Yeah,
I'm not even sure they should be in those conversations. So, like, in reality, there are no teams.
So you think the ACC is worse than I do?
Yeah, no, I'm saying, like, in reality, I don't even think there's one team that's in that conversation. And the only teams that I think could be in that conversation, there's 3 really. There's Florida State that I think could jump into that conversation. I have to see what these freshmen look like, but we know that they have a lot of talent. Duke could jump into that conversation.
Yes.
I think we're crowning them way too early. And North Carolina could jump into that conversation. You know, all things considered. So there are 3 teams that really have a chance. Virginia's always going to be in the conversation. But, I mean, Georgia Tech, no. They're not it this year. Clemson, no. Virginia Tech is the only team on the outside looking in that I like Virginia Tech a lot. Maybe Notre Dame surprises some people, but you can't put your stock into Notre Dame. It's going to be an average year, a mediocre year in the ACC.
But so how do you feel?
Dying.
So how do you feel about
mediocre.
the health of the league moving forward?
No, I mean, I said this is the year. You got to make a statement. This is a statement year. And if you're not making statements, year 4 comes quickly, Titus, and then we have expectations. And Hubert Davis enters year 4, and I don't see statements.
So you think the
It's not gonna be fun.
The fate of the entire conference, not just North Carolina as a program, but the fate of the entire ACC rests on Hubert Davis' shoulders, is what you're saying.
At some level, yes.
I love it.
At some level.
Not John Shire at all?
I mean, it will.
Yeah.
Next year. It will be on him too.
Okay.
It's on the leaders. Tony Bennett is obviously a big part of this, and he's operating on an island, and we like having Tony there, and he's building his own path, but he doesn't care about the ACC. He cares about Virginia.
Okay.
Cares about.
Sounds like you don't care about the ACC.
No, I do care about the ACC.
Carolina
And Duke.
So if Duke misses every tournament, you're happy about that? Obviously.
What in the future?
Yeah.
Moving forward?
Yeah.
I mean, it would be bad for the ACC. The ACC would be dying. You got to have a yin and a yang, you know? You got to have one or the other. You got to have 2 teams from the same place competing for the same thing.
Worst preseason KenPom average among all the major conferences. Hang that banner.
Man.
The ACC. The top 6, the Big 6 conferences, the Power 6. I think they should.
This is the year that you look into bringing Maryland back. I really think
bring Maryland back.
I think
the
Maryland's important. Yeah. I think we want Maryland back. For all the Maryland fans that think I'm a hater,
I see it the other way. Back. I think Carolina gets off the sinking ship. Carolina and Duke come to the Big Ten.
You want us. You want us. I respect that.
Yeah, that's why I think Jim Delaney, Manifest Delaney, bring Carolina and Duke. He always wanted to do it. He's a Carolina guy. He wanted to bring Carolina and Duke to the Big Ten, make it happen, and
Who do we have now? Jim Phillips, right? That's the new Jim?
Yeah, Northwestern guy.
A lot of Jims.
Northwestern guy can
finesse it.
All right, number 11. Go ahead.
Sorry, I had to throw up a little bit in my mouth. Number 11, Walker Kessler, out to prove that character counts at Auburn. This is number 11 on the list. This is a 5-star player, a guy that we thought were going to be a star at North Carolina at certain points last year. The offseason, there were a lot of, mixed reports. Who's the reason why Roy Williams left his job? I don't think it was Walker Kessler's fault, but that was some of the, conversations.
Is that the prevailing theory that Walker Kessler was bitching
domino.
about
he was the final domino.
Did he transfer before Roy retired?
He is in the conversation. Not even necessarily about him, but just like the conversations that were had. And he goes to Auburn. He had a concussion early on in the offseason. He's back practicing 100%. They say he looks great. He's on the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar watch list for the season. Walker's going to have a great year at Auburn, and Auburn's going to be a really good basketball team, and it's going to hurt to watch. Yeah. It's going to hurt to watch.
How do you feel about Walker Kessler in general?
What do you mean?
Like, is he hated, or is he like a guy that you're like, I get why you had to do what you had to do?
I don't get why you had to do what you had to do. I don't get it. But
was he gonna play with Baycott if he came back? They were gonna both start.
Yeah.
You think so?
Mm-hmm.
That would have been the plan.
He would have started at the 4. It would have been Chet Holmgren.
Yeah.
Because that was the other thing. Like, Walker Kessler, he was getting recruited by Gonzaga. It could have been Timmy, Chet, Kessler. those are 3 tall white dudes. I mean, that was going to be a lanky team. And now, he's at Auburn. I think he's the piece they needed, in the post for them. So he's going to have a really good year, but it's going to hurt to watch. And I'm going to take credit when he goes to the next level in the NBA. Like, he's going to be a Carolina guy in the NBA. I'm going to have that check mark, but it's going to be tough.
Do you think Walker Kessler, when he posts on Instagram, big dub, and it's him flexing and hitting his bicep on an and one because Auburn just beat Towson or something in some non-conference game, and he puts that on his Instagram. Is Caleb Love double tapping that? Is Armando Baycott?
The team all likes him.
They do.
They're all still friends.
They say that's tough, and they got the steam emoji coming out of the nose.
No,
emoji.
when he
We're
put up his graphic, like his Photoshop graphic with his huge arms from Auburn, like all the Carolina guys were in the comments. They're like, smoke out the nose, out the nose. Like free smoke at Auburn.
Is that how you describe that emoji? It's smoke out the nose. Smoke out the nose.
But yeah, they're fired up. It's going to be a long year with Walker Kessler at Auburn, though. Yeah. I mean, with Bruce Pearl. I mean, you know how.
Well, dude, forget about the past. Let's focus on the present, which brings us to number 10.
Oof.
This has less to do. I'm going to let you talk about Carolina, but I just wanted to call attention to this because, again, this is when our show's at the best. At number 10, Tate has officially talked himself into North Carolina, which is fantastic news for all the fans at home because. We every single person that listens to the show and works on the show and pays any attention to the show knows where this is headed, except for Tate, and we love that. It's all awesome.
The last time that I bought in was 2019. North Carolina was a number 1 seed in the NCAA tournament. Kobe White was the point guard. Cameron Johnson was the star transfer in. Nasir Little, another 5-star freshman on this team. And I believed, Titus. I thought we were destined to go back to the Final Four as we do most Final Fours in NCAA history. That's just what I thought. And from there, Kobe White leaves. Garrison Brooks becomes the star of the team. This is the darkest period I consider in North Carolina basketball history. I know a lot of people were going to point to early 2000s, but at least then we knew we had no hope, right? I mean, Garrison Brooks was a cancer.
The Stillman White era wasn't the
I was there for that.
That was not the darkest.
Stillman White won a national championship.
Okay.
People forget this.
Okay.
That was a bright era.
Okay.
But
the Matt Doherty year 1.
8-20 was a tough time. But I was a kid.
But that wasn't an era. That was a season.
That was a season, and we also knew. We went to the blue-white game. We saw Brian Morrison and Adam Boone, and we said, "Wow,
okay,
not going to be good."
Yeah.
So that was a dark period. Right now, I got to figure out who Hubert Davis is. Right, I want to know who Hubert is as a coach. I know who he is as a man. I know who he is as a Carolina basketball guy. I get all that. But I think this year I'm going to see what this team looks like. We're shooting a lot more threes because you said it earlier. We figured out 3 is more than 2.
Yeah.
Roy Williams always played the percentages, right? He was like, I'll let him shoot threes, dadgummit, but we're going to get that rebound. We're going to start that fast break. Hubert Davis says, I don't want them to shoot those threes. We're going to close out on these guys, and we're also going to shoot a lot more threes ourselves.
Yeah.
So it's going to be an interesting time.
Do you think Hubert's going to have a tough time convincing Carolina fans? Like, if you guys lose a couple out of the gate, like, don't give up yet. Just give it time, because I imagine there will be a lot of Carolina fans that are like, what are we doing here, Hubert? Go back to Roy's way of just throwing up bricks and playing volleyball on the glass. And having our big men run the floor.
I mean, literally, defense and rebounding. And make your free throws. That's Carolina basketball. Yeah. And that is, I think a lot of people want to see that, right? Yeah. That's what we're here for.
So if you don't get that and you lose, how big of a crisis are we going to have on our hands?
That's my concern as well. My concern is that we take 33s in a game and we lose to Boston College, and people are like, what is going on?
Yeah, yeah.
And that could be terrifying.
But you're drinking the Kool-Aid overall.
Not only am I drinking the Kool-Aid, Titus, I'm chugging the Kool-Aid because I love Hubert Davis. And I think, like, there's only one coach that could get Leaky Black to buy in, and it was Hubert Davis, right? I mean, I look at this roster. There's a lot of seniors. There's a lot of talent that I think has been untapped in some spots, like an R.J. Davis, a Kerwin Walton. I think those guys take the leap. Got some young freshmen that I'm fans of. And then Armando Bacot is a star. Caleb Love should be a star. Play like a star. And then everything is fine. That's how I feel about this team. They have the talent. Hubert Davis, he has them believing. All they've talked about is banners. That's all we're talking about. Championships. That's all we care about. Final Fours and championships.
You got a lot of them in the Dean Dome.
Exactly.
You hang a banner for anything.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Hubert Davis, he just pointing up. That's all I think he does at practice. He's just like pointing up.
Jim, you ever been to the Dean Dome?
No.
Dude, they got a million banners. If you average more than 10 points a game at Carolina, you get your jersey put up in the rafters. I'm not even kidding. Am I wrong?
No. All ACC on.
Does Hansbrough have his number up?
Oh, of course, yeah. Dude, Bobby Fraizer has his number up.
No.
Isn't that Tate's mom?
I wish Bobby Fraizer had his jersey up there, friend of the program. But look, all I will say, you're right. My heart's probably going to get broken. That's how. But I'm okay.
What is
love again?
I am. Well, tell us the expectation. Put it out there. Put your heart out there. Tell America what your expectations. Final Four. Anything less than a Final Four is a heartbreak.
No, I mean not anything less is a heartbreak. But I'm saying like what I expect to see at the end of this year is North Carolina and New Orleans.
At the playing or like visiting, like watching.
If Hubert Davis is there winning Coach of the Year or something like that, then that's good too. But I expect to see North Carolina and New Orleans.
All right, there it is. Number 9 on the list, sticking to the ACC, our last little ACC point I wanted to ask you, because I want to get your take on this too, Tate. How healthy is the Virginia basketball brand in general? Because
that's a great question.
I don't want to talk about this team this year. I'm sure Virginia fans wish we would, but I'm just more curious. The overall, does Virginia won the 2019 national title, as we know. 2020 the tournament gets canceled. 2021, their first game since winning the national title. They get upset by Ohio. 2021, they win the ACC. But nobody cares. Nobody remembers. The ACC sucked last year. Virginia was a 4 seed. My question to you is the Virginia basketball brand, does it still resonate? Is it the most feared brand in the ACC currently? Do you go into every season of ACC basketball and say, I don't know why everyone's talking about Paolo Banchero and Duke. I don't know why everyone's talking about Hubert Davis in North Carolina. What we should be talking about is Charlottesville, because all roads go through Charlottesville in ACC basketball, as they have for years and years under Tony Bennett. Is that still true, or are cracks starting to show in Virginia basketball, would you say?
I think every ACC fan will give them their respect. I think every ACC fan will say all roads go through Charlottesville. Yeah. That is where the ACC is run through right now. I think every ACC fan will say that. But I think nationally, there's a UMBC game that has a taste. No matter what no one cares that they won the title. Nobody. Yeah. You know this. Yeah. You know that they still remember UMBC and talk about it as if it wasn't righted the next year, because it's not 1-1. And then the fact they lost to Ohio, like, kind of double confirmed, like, it
was a fluke.
They're saying 2019 was a blip. That's what the national media wants you to think. So I really think that's the split, right? The brand is revered and feared in ACC country. But nationally, there's like a little bit of that.
I think I'm with you, because Virginia being 25th to start the season, like,
disrespect.
preseason polls are based on nothing. Like we know this. Preseason polls are stupid. It's just like it's more of a reflection on which coaches have respect and which programs have respect, which is why year in and year out, Duke and Kentucky and Kansas and Carolina, no matter what they bring back talent-wise, they're going to be in the top 25 because people don't pay that much attention. They're just like, we respect the programs. Here you go.
5 stars.
Here's 5 stars. Go ahead. Take it. Virginia being 25 was shocking to me because I felt like Tony Bennett, and that's why I said when we were talking about Chris Beard a couple shows ago that I feel like Chris Beard has replaced Tony Bennett as the coach that gets the blind respect in that regard, where it's just like, Chris Beard will figure it out. Here, Texas, take a number 2 vote for me for the AP poll. Go. I got Gonzaga, Texas in my AP poll. Go. Take it. There you go, Chris Beard. Tony Bennett, I don't care about you anymore. You're 25th. That's what it feels like, yeah.
Which is wild because Tony Bennett, after 2019 when he won the title, it felt like a coronation, right? It felt like everyone was like, this guy's at the table. Give him his flowers. Give him his respect. He's the best coach in college basketball. Him or Jay Wright, 1 or 2, whichever one you like. It's 1A, 1B, you pick. And then somehow,
now you got to do it again.
The PR isn't out there.
Yeah. Now you got to do it again. Now he's. I mean, it's been 2 years. He had he played one NCAA tournament since they won the title, and I think we've already arrived at the what Jim Boeheim has to go through, what John Calipari has to go through, what Bill Self goes through. Which is like, cool,
what's
you
next?
won it that one time, but like, when are you going to do it again?
Mm-hmm.
Are we already there with Tony Bennett?
I honestly think the 2020 tournament not happening hurt them a little bit as far as, the last time we saw them, they get upset again by a program that people are, like it's just bad PR.
Yeah.
If you actually are watching them like an ACC fan, you see them up close, you won't know problems.
Wasn't last year they lost to San Francisco too to start the season, right?
The Dons.
That early.
That's right.
Yeah, so they started the season losing to San Francisco. They end the season losing to Ohio. And no one paid attention in between when they won the ACC.
Exactly.
It's tough.
I don't know what Tony could do to get more of the respect. You know what I mean? Maybe he goes on like a TNT or whatever it is and does
the show.
That would be great. He should come on the show. But he goes on like TNT with Charles Barkley. You know what I mean? He does like some NBA kind of kissing up. He might need to do some of that to get some of the love.
Can you imagine inside the NBA he comes back after Sixers Celtics in between the Sixers Celtics and Warriors Lakers game?
Nets game. He talks about Joe Harris.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
Nets game. And he comes,
or Pacers game. He talks about Malcolm Brogdon.
We're here with Tony Bennett. Yeah. Every NBA fan would be like, "Who the hell is this guy?"
Yeah, Charlotte Hornet Tony Bennett.
Get out of here. What's next on the list?
Number 8 on the list. This is for Chris Vernon. Emoni Bates versus Jalen Duren in the battle for Chris Vernon's heart. This is going to be the showdown of the year, really. I think we both know what the right answer is already. It's Jalen, right? I mean, Emoni is the next LeBron, but Jalen is actually the best player on this team.
I think so. I think Verno's even punted on Emoni. I don't think he would want me to say that publicly, but I think Verno's already punted on Emoni.
Are you serious? The man
I think
who
he
came
has.
on our show
like he came
yelling
on,
at us about YouTube.com and Emoni Bates has already punted on it.
I think. Listen, I'm not reporting. This isn't a scoop. I'm not reporting this. I'm just reading the vibes. And
he came on our show, basically threatened us if we didn't watch Emoni Bates.
And what I'm telling you is, in talking to Vernon since then, Verno
So what you're saying is that he actually had not watched YouTube.com.
He did not actually watch YouTube.
So he was saying, I might as well check that out before I send them on that.
No, he was giving me orders to report back to him. And I was like, Verno, I went to EmoniBatesYouTube.com. Not that impressed.
A lot of traveling, yeah.
But Verno is very high because I can already feel the pivot happening. I'm talking about Memphis. He's already pivoting away from Emoni and towards Jalen Duren. And I don't think that's a coincidence. I think there's something going on there. So I think Jalen Duren is going to be his guy by.
Is Jalen Duren 7 foot tall? Was he 6'10", 6'11"?
I don't know. Let's look it up. Go to YouTube.com.
Yeah, I guess I should go to YouTube.com. I mean that. I want to know how big he is.
6'11".
He's 6'11". Okay, so that's basically 7 foot. So that's what's up. He's got first top 5 potential.
I saw Verno, and when we were at Ole Miss a few weeks ago, I went to the Grizzlies game, season opener, Grizzlies Cavs. I see Verno, and again, this is off the record, so we're not putting this into the podcast. I'm just telling you this.
Yeah, it's off the record.
This won't be. We'll definitely cut this. I was talking to Verno, and I go, hey, Emoni Bates. So the combine numbers. It's got to be concerning, right?
Yes.
And you know what he said to me? He goes, Jalen Duren.
Oh, so he just pivoted.
YouTube.com. This is a grown man.
He pivoted.
This is not he's a freshman, Titus. He's a freshman, but he's a grown man. And I was like, what about Emoni Bates? He goes, Jalen Duren, YouTube.com.
Gross. This is gross.
So there you go.
This is disrespectful to our program. He came on our show yelling nonsense about a player that cannot even literally get a shot off without traveling. Got our fans all hyped up on him, and then immediately jumps off the bandwagon.
But I will say Jalen Duren, if you go to YouTube.com.
Is he sick?
He's pretty fucking sick.
Okay, so all right.
He's checked out of his mind, dude. He's like,
all right.
yeah.
So we're Jalen Duren guys on the show. I like Emoni Bates. I just
no, you don't. You don't have to say these things.
No,
it's okay to be like, I don't like Emoni Bates.
I like Emoni Bates.
I'm going to go on record. I don't like Emoni Bates.
Oh, see,
I'm not cheering for him to fail.
I'm on the record. I like him.
But Emoni Bates has checked every box of the new age basketball player. That you don't want. That you don't want. Yeah. You just don't want that.
He is like when a coach says like there's an AAU-ification of basketball, and you think like, what does that mean? About? Yeah. You show like his height. You're like, I get it.
Go to YouTube.com and type in Emoni Bates.
You get it. You see it.
And that's what it is. All right. Up next on the list, number 7.
Ooh.
John Calipari swears that last season was a blip, not a bomb.
I love
and that Kentucky is back. So now let's talk about the Kentucky Wildcats. We were talking about the SEC earlier. We purposely did not want to talk too much about Kentucky because I knew this was coming, Tate. What say you? Was it a blip or was it a bomb? Because Kentucky, against Miles College in their exhibition game, was down at half, was struggling throughout. The Wildcats end up winning by like 9, I want to say, 80-71 against Division II Miles College. Which, by the way, Miles College, I looked this up because I'm a journalist. This is what I do. Yeah. Miles College is like it's not even like Miles College is like number 3 in Division II. It's not like they're like a top tier. You know what I mean? Like,
they're not. Yeah.
Sometimes that can happen. Like you can get like a team.
Play Williams or whatever, the D3 school. Yeah.
And they're a great program, and they're going to win the national title at that level. Yeah. And you catch like a young Division I team in an exhibition.
Yeah, and it's like it just didn't work. Yeah.
So I was like, I wonder, was like Miles College, are they like maybe the number 1 team in Division II, and like I'm just gonna laugh at Kentucky? No, not the case. They're not that good. As it turns out, they're not that good. So the question is, are we concerned at all about Kentucky? They play Duke tonight. Tonight being the night that everyone's probably listening to.
Tuesday night, and I think I said on the last show when we were talking about Kentucky, how did a team that was so terrible and abysmal last year bring back so many guys from that team, yet somehow they are ranked number 9 in the country?
Yeah.
And I was more freaking out that they were number 9, thinking that they should be at least in the top 25. You watch that game, you have your concerns, and they're obviously very reasonable concerns. And John Calipari, leading into the Champions Classic that you're watching tonight, he's only talking about Duke. And I know this is something that he did it with Ohio State. We saw a couple years ago at the CBS Classic where he said Ohio State's the best team in the country, and that's the way he kind of downplays his own team. He says Paolo Banchero's got girth, and that he really likes what he's seeing from him. He also said, I think Jim is going to like this quote, he said, and I quote, "Coach K made me a better coach." John Calipari said this.
How though?
Does
he explain how, or
no,
does he just say
that's just what he said leading into this game. So all signs are pointing right now to Kentucky not being that good because Coach Calipari is getting ahead of it. And the fact that he said it was a blip, not a bomb, is PR. So you can't really take that as word to the wise. This is not good for Kentucky.
He's in a tough spot, too, because
my antennas are up, but now I'm really concerned. I am now, like, the panic button is right here. My hand is over it.
He's in a tough spot, too, because this team is not young. This is not a young team. This is not a these kids situation.
No, you bring like Wheeler in, like
Kellen Grady,
exactly.
Keon Brooks he's been around the block a time or two. Tate Washington's their star freshman, I guess. Yeah. So like, but they started their 5 starters in the exhibition were Severe Wheeler, Tate Washington, Kellen Grady, Keon Brooks, Oscar Tshiebwe. 4 of those dudes have been playing a lot of college basketball. Tate Washington's the one exception. So even if you're Cal, you can't pull out the usual playbook when things go south and just be like, I'm trying to teach these kids.
CJ Frederick and these aren't kids. These are
not kids. These are guys, but are they his guys? I don't think they are. You know what else stood out to me at the exhibition against Miles College? Davion Mintz, leading scorer of Kentucky last year.
Yep.
11 minutes in a competitive exhibition game where Cal's losing his mind. His hair gel his sweat is getting his hair gel.
That's what really concerned me.
Yeah.
And Brad Calipari is on the bench, and I think that might be stressing him out even more because he's like, it's like father-son duo.
Yep.
Trying to pass his lineage down. You know what I mean? I need to keep the success at a certain level so that Brad can be up next. It's a lot of pressure on that blue blood.
Davion Mintz played 11 minutes.
Well, because he's losing time to Ty and all these other. I mean. That's just...
The leading scorer of I'm going to say this in plain as day so everyone understands what happened here.
Yeah.
A man led the Kentucky Wildcats in scoring.
Again,
for an entire
but a bad team. But a bad team.
Let me talk. He led the entire season, the Kentucky Wildcats, in scoring for the entire season. He came back to school and played 11 minutes against Miles College in a competitive game in which you would assume if shit is hitting the fan, that you might turn to your guy who was your leading scorer last year. Not the case. As you said, they were a bad team last year. They might be a bad team this year. I thought a month ago I probably had more faith in Kentucky than Duke because if I was like weighing the Kentucky, they're in bed together.
Yeah, they are.
Cal and Kay.
You make a choice. Yeah.
Yeah, and you got to figure out like who's playing the game better. I probably thought Kentucky was going to be better this year. I have Duke winning tonight. I have Duke winning the Champions Classic because
I have Duke winning as well. I think Duke they seem to be more put together than Calipari and Kentucky. And Kentucky won the PR of the offseason, right? They did a good job of bringing in some of these guys, and then like the Kofi Coburn, like he wants to go to Kentucky. They steal Illinois stat. You know what I mean? They won the PR, but the results might be the same, and that is going to be frightening for Calipari because we talked about this 2 years ago. Some of the Kentucky fans we talked to the CBS Classic, they were done with Cal in like 2019. They were like, I'm done being sold a bill of goods. I'm over this guy. I want Kentucky basketball back. So like, as much as he's beloved nationally, and people are like, there's no way Kentucky would get rid of Calipari. Like, if he does it again, if it's the same thing as last year again, there's going to be problems.
Well, the thing is, he pivoted this year, and he's now in the transfer portal versus the 5-star game, and. So he's in and out. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. He mixed it up. So he's responding to his own fans, and he's like, I'm reinventing myself. And if this doesn't work, he might be out of cards to play. I don't know. Are we overreacting?
I think we might be, but also lifetime contract, so he'll be fine.
Go ahead, number 6.
Oh my gosh, this is a great number 6. I just see him holding up 6 and rocking around. His name is Johnny Juzang, and it's officially Johnny Juzang's world this season. He is the face of college basketball, in my opinion.
You think so?
This is the Pac-12 update. We are all going to be talking about Johnny Juzang, and I think he took our hearts with an amazing run in the NCAA tournament. Obviously, Gonzaga, Jalen Suggs, one of the greatest shots we'll ever see in tournament history. But Johnny Juzang, they're not done yet. Job's not finished, and they're coming back. And I think Johnny's going to have a great year, and I'm excited.
You think
Johnny's a friend of the program, by the way. So shout out to Johnny Juzang.
Yeah. Do you think? If you were trying to sell America on college basketball this year, you start with Johnny Juzang.
I start with UCLA.
That's your first place you go.
First place, 100%.
You think he's if you were Adam Silver of college basketball, and you're like, we got to put together a commercial that we can.
It's Drew Timme and Johnny Juzang.
Yeah, show a bunch of highlights to get people excited. You're putting Drew Timme and Johnny Juzang.
The best game that you watched last year, the 16 million people that watched that game.
That's a good point.
Guess what? They're back. The faces of those teams are back.
Yeah,
and they're better than ever. Because you think Jalen Suggs is lost, we got Chet Holmgren coming. You know what I mean? Like you blow out the whole promo, and then Jaime Jaquez is a perfect number 2. To Johnny Juzang, you know what I mean? Because if Johnny's struggling early on and the flash isn't really working, you got the grit and grind over here. He's going to figure it out. Jake Kyman, who we love, he's going to hit a big shot. UCLA, it's not just Johnny. Like, Johnny's got a team behind him, but he can be the face of every – he's the LA face of it all.
I was looking up tickets for the game on Friday because I was trying to go to the UCLA-Villanova game as a non-media. I didn't want to get the credential. I wanted to get the – by the way, if anyone's listening, you got to hook up our tickets.
Yeah,
hit me up.
What's going on, Paulie Pavilion?
I wanted to go as a fan, so I was just curious. I was like, I wonder if could I buy like a $10 ticket and just get it? UCLA fans, we love them, but they don't go to games a lot. We know this. The traffic's
Is it a hard ticket?
It's a hard ticket. UCLA might be back, dude.
I'm telling you, I love it.
It's like $100. It's $100 to get in.
I feel it. Cincinnati was ranked 3-4 years ago when they came. Easiest ticket you and I ever got.
Yeah.
Now it's not an easy ticket, and that's
not
all we ever wanted.
That's all we wanted.
Yeah.
They might be back. At least till Friday. We'll see what happens in Villanova.
But even if Villanova like comes to Westwood and like, you know, God forbid they beat them and break them down or whatever it is, it's still just good energy coming out of Westwood.
It is, but it's bad. Like if Villanova wins by like 15, that is absolutely horrible.
Yeah,
like the wheels are off the UCLA hype machine out of the gate. That's not good.
We need to do on this show like the PR for Peyton Watson. You know what I mean? Because we need to show these kids that if they come and commit on our show, we will take care of them.
He's nasty, by the way.
He's the best freshman in the country.
I love him.
Clip that out. He's the best freshman in the country.
I love it.
Love Peyton Watson.
I love it. All right, we're down to our final five. Let's make it happen. At number 5, I asked a question that literally no one else in America seems to be asking. Tate.
They're scared to ask it.
No one wants to talk about it. Is Baylor good enough to repeat? Can the Baylor Bears win another national title? I think it seems crazy to say that based on what they lost. They lose their top 3 scorers. They lose the heart and soul of what that program has been for the last couple of years.
3 of the best guards you'll see in March.
Yes.
Really. Talk about Teague and Mitchell, obviously Butler, yeah.
Yes. Those 3 guys are gone. And in that regard, you might say to yourself, there's no way Baylor can repeat. And that reflects it. What are they in the AP poll? Like
6, right? Yeah.
No, they're not. They're lower than that. They're like in the teens, aren't they?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. I can't even deal with the disrespect of Baylor, to be quite honest with you. It's not even fair to Scott Drew. We are trying to carry water for this man.
They're 8th.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, 8th. That's fine.
I thought they were lower than that.
No.
So Baylor. I don't think they jump. And Langston Love is out for the year. They're star freshman. So I don't think they jump off the page as like obvious title contenders. But I do think they are good enough to repeat. And I think, as I've been saying all offseason, I'm going to continue to say it throughout the entire season. If Matthew Myers is as good as he can be, and he's consistently that good, like he was, the game that sticks out, anybody who watched it will remember when Baylor played at West Virginia, and West Virginia had Baylor. It was a very close game. Punches are being thrown back and forth. I don't think literally, but I might have to double check. Maybe they actually were. And Matthew Meyer just pulls his balls out one after another and is just hitting big shot after big shot against West Virginia on the road. Baylor wins. And I remember thinking, like, this guy's going to be a star.
Yep.
But he also played, like, 17 minutes a game last year because they're loaded.
It is going to be interesting.
They have James Akinjo is Arizona transfer, Georgetown, Arizona transfer. He is there at Baylor. They're going to have a ton of talent. Adam Flagler is back. I think Baylor's going to be very good, and I do think they are good enough to repeat. I just wanted to say that. That's another PSA I have for America, is that Baylor is not going to be as good as they were last year. They're not going to be as good as they were 2 years ago. But if you look up in March/April and Baylor's in the Final Four and has a chance to win back-to-back national titles, and you're surprised by that, then you probably weren't paying enough attention.
I wouldn't be shocked if Baylor's a 1 seed again in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
That's how much I believe in Baylor. And I also wouldn't be shocked if Baylor were to get like a really bad draw where, remember Villanova, if they won in 2016, 2017, they played Nigel Hayes in Wisconsin.
It was Wisconsin, right?
Yeah, 1-8 game.
Yeah.
And they get upset. I feel like that's like a Baylor destiny this year.
They're going to play UCLA. They're going to play a UCLA team that struggled. UCLA was an A seed.
Oh my God, let's hope not. That would be terrible.
UCLA's an A seed. They play Baylor in the second round.
Well, it'd be good.
And then UCLA goes back to the Final Four as an A seed.
As they get the 1 seed run, that could be good.
Oh my God. You agree with me that Baylor's good enough to win a national title then?
I'm not necessarily, I don't know if to win a national title, but I think they're good enough to be a 1 seed, which obviously if you're a 1 seed, you have a chance. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't see them winning back-to-back championships in my mind.
They don't pass the
they don't pass the like could this be
test,
be reality that I live in? But I also wouldn't be shocked if they're a 1 seed and everyone going in the tournament's like kind of like Baylor again. You know, this team defensively. Look at Kim Palm. You know, I could see that.
They are going to be great defensively.
Yeah, great defensive team.
They are going to be great defensively.
That's what I'm saying.
You're kidding, but I'm being serious.
I'm being serious.
No, I'm being serious. No, you're kidding.
I'm laughing.
I know you're joking.
I'm laughing, but I'm being serious.
I know you're joking.
Baylor.
But I'm not.
Baylor's going to be good.
Number 4, Baylor. We talked about the national champions. Now let's talk about the national runner-up, Gonzaga. My question to you is this, because I've been thinking about this for the last month or so, and I don't know what the answer is. Is Gonzaga likable?
You know what the answer is. The answer is absolutely not. That's the answer. It's hard. It's hard to hate David, right? Like, obviously,
isn't that fascinating? The Gonzaga is.
It's hard to hate David because obviously you're like, Goliath sucks.
Yeah,
like he's the worst. I don't like him, but I also don't like David because he's kind of arrogant too. You know what I mean? So like, but they are the little guy, but they're also hateable, and they like being hated. Drew Timme likes being hated as much as everyone's like, "How could you hate this kid? Look, he's a senior. Look how much he works." So it's like, this guy's stroking his mustache. He wants to be hated. So I think they're better hated than they are liked.
I don't think they're really David anymore either. They're like David. They're like King David. They're not like David. Like David when he became king, right?
Exactly.
Like they're not.
Yeah. They're post. They've beaten Goliath, and now they're like.
But that's what's fascinating too is they didn't even beat Goliath. It's like they, you know what I mean? Like they haven't won a. That's what's so fascinating to me is that Gonzaga has somehow found themselves where they are for the second consecutive year the almost overwhelming, almost unanimous number one team in the preseason. They're expected to win the national title for the second consecutive year. Mm-hmm. They get the number one recruit in the country. They have maybe the best player in college basketball coming back. Everything about them checks the box of like a blue blood program. They have not won a national championship yet, and yet I think we are past the point of Gonzaga being. We're certainly past the point of them being an underdog, but I think we're past the point of them being lovable in the sense we're like, if
nobody's pulling
for them anymore, and they never got the. You're supposed to win. You're supposed to be Virginia losing to UMBC. Then Virginia comes back, and people are kind of rooting for them to get
2017 was really the last time I think that like the general public was on the Gonzaga. They deserved it. Like give them their title.
Yes, 2017 was
and then
supposed
I think
to happen,
2021 this past year people were like, we can't let them go undefeated. You know, like they were pulling against them to go undefeated, so they didn't have that mojo. And now I think, like you said, they're too far removed from ever getting the lovability back.
Yes,
they'll never be loved
Mark
again.
Few getting a DUI in the offseason doesn't help anything. I think that's not.
And also, he's the voice of college basketball coaches. Like when we go to Congress, Mark Few's the guy now.
Yes.
So like it's even more of a you guys are you're the in guys. You're at the table.
That's so fascinating. Yeah. Man. The Gonzaga. I mean, I don't know.
You would think that there's got to be some contingent of people that have like sympathy for the fact that they haven't gotten over the hump.
Yeah.
Still,
I still want them to win. I think I want Gonzaga to win a national
I want them to
title,
win a national championship as well.
I wouldn't say I hate Gonzaga, but I don't know if I like Gonzaga as much as I used to. You know,
I'm scared that they like being unliked. I think they like it. I think that's where they want to be. That's why I call them the new Duke.
Yeah, they're the new Duke.
I think that they've embraced. Duke wants to be loved.
Why don't you get Gonzaga to the ACC?
That'd be great.
Save the ACC.
Oh my God, that'd be great.
Number 3 on our list. Speaking of Gonzaga not winning titles, we are monitoring. We are keeping an eye on the title droughts.
Yes.
That have yet to be broken.
Yes. Greatest droughts of all time is a great list we should make.
The two obvious ones, Tate. The Pac-12 has not won a national title since 1997. The West Coast in general, I guess.
West Coast.
Since 1997. So throw Gonzaga in there.
Pac-12 update.
We always try to anyway. Put Gonzaga in the Pac-12. If they win a title, it counts.
Mm-hmm.
Pac-12 has not won since 1997. The Big Ten, the best basketball conference in America, has not won. The conference that embarrasses the ACC every time they play each other.
And then embarrasses themselves in March.
Embarrasses themselves how? By sending every program to the Final Four?
Yeah.
You're a conference of 2 teams. We're a conference of many. Everyone knows this. The Big Ten has not won a national title since 2000 because we're full of programs that refuse to cheat and will not pay players. Purdue has not made a Final Four since 1980. I put that on the list.
That's a good one. I like that one.
Yeah.
So close.
Purdue is close.
Diakite shot.
Yep.
Right there.
Duke has not won a regular season ACC.
Play it.
Duke has not won a regular season ACC title since 2010.
Wow.
That's pretty crazy, honestly.
Checks out.
What else is there? What other droughts are out there?
Sean Miller still has not made a Final Four. That's the one that I think a lot of people they're just like sitting on pins and needles waiting to see if that ever gets checked off the list. I think he might make it this year. Maybe he quits the podcast mid-season and hops in for someone as an interim coach. Maybe that could be his thing. He's like
coach for hire.
Yeah, exactly.
Goes to Cal State Northridge and takes over for Trent. Trent Johnson's like, I'm over this shit when he's interim for Godfrey. Sean Miller's like, I'll do it.
He's like, I'm right here. I know the game plan. I think the Pac-12 is the one that really could be broken this year. I think that's the best one.
What's the one that has to be broken? Where are the stakes the highest?
Well,
the Pac-12?
Last year was the Big Ten's year, and you guys just,
it was a Mickey Mouse tournament. We've talked about it.
Yeah,
so it doesn't count.
So you can blame Mickey Mouse, but last year was all all signs are pointing to big. Even as you know, I was like, this is a Big Ten year. If there was ever a year for the Big Ten, this was the year. But now I've moved on from that, I think it's the Pac-12's time. They haven't won this century. Big Ten has won this century. So they get a bit of a pass. They've won this century at least. Pac-12 hasn't won this century. You got the number 2 team in the country. You got stars. You got the right coach for the tournament in Mick Cronin, I believe. You got the right point guard.
Oregon's going to be good, too. Don't forget about Oregon.
An interesting team.
Oregon's guards, by the way, I want to get on record saying this. Oregon's going to win the Maui Invitational, get the Maui bump.
Okay.
Oregon is going to be nasty to start the season, especially.
I like that.
I love those guards, Richardson and Jalen Young.
That's a great
Davion
pick.
Harmon. I think they're going to be awesome out of the gate, and they're going to win the Maui Invitational, and they're going to get the Maui bump, and they're going to be ranked 6th in the country after they win Maui.
Oregon, another team in the 2017 Final Four that who knows if things go differently, they maybe get that jump and that bump. So the Pac-12, 1997, that's the one that I'm looking for. That's my number one.
You think the Pac-12 has the most pressure?
I think that this is the year to do it. This is the year to get over the hump. And if they win, if UCLA wins a national championship in 2022, oh my goodness, college basketball is back.
College basketball is very much back.
It is 100% back. I mean, LA can't deny it.
Let's put it that way. Take UCLA out of the pit. It doesn't have to be UCLA. It could be Washington State playing Moneyball. It could be Oregon State going on another miraculous NCAA tournament run. What is better for college basketball as a whole? The Big Ten winning a national title or the Pac-12 winning a national title? I'm not saying UCLA, Tate. I'm saying the Pac-12. It could be any of the Pac-12 teams. It could be Stanford or the Big Ten. What does college basketball need for the health of the sport?
College basketball needs Chicago or Los Angeles to care about college basketball. And
you need
Illinois or UCLA. And I think UCLA means more than Illinois.
Yeah. I think they're both going to be in the Final Four.
Which would be amazing.
With Gonzaga and then Duke, and then Duke wins.
Oh my God. That would be classic. That would be classic. Because 2015 was the year, Wisconsin.
Yeah.
That was really like the Big Ten. I thought that was going to be the Big Ten.
What do you mean? That was we've had a million, though. That was the year. 2013, Michigan had a great team. Yeah, 2007, Florida cheated and brought their whole team back. They won a national title.
That was cheating.
That's cheating.
Yeah.
That's literally cheating. Look it up in the rule books.
We should try to
Jim,
file
look that
a grievance.
up. There's a rule where if you win a national title, you can't bring all 5 starters back, right? Look that up. There has to be a rule.
Yeah,
they cheated. Florida cheated.
Yeah.
Give Ohio
file
State
a grievance.
the banner. 2009, that wasn't the year.
2009 wasn't the year.
2002 wasn't the year either. I loved IU, but
I was thinking about this, by the way. 20 years. It would be really poetic. 20 years after 2002, 2022 Final Four for Indiana to be back in the Final Four.
Oh.
And have this full circle kind of moment. And Mike Woodson, you finally got the right coach. Because Mike Woodson was probably the guy from the start,
Yeah.
You guys finally got it right.
Yeah.
Bob Knight's there.
Us guys.
Yeah, you guys finally got it right.
All right, let's mercifully put this podcast to an end. Actually, no, we got 2 more. Number 2.
Yeah.
Number 2 on the list. I'm sorry. What? Are we sure this is number 2?
This is number 2?
I guess number 2, Coach K retirement tour. Huh. All right, Coach K retirement tour number 2.
Great formatting.
He gets centered.
Good job, Jim. Mike Krzyzewski, his tonight in the Champions Classic against Kentucky, as Jim pointed out to us before the show, before we started recording, this will be the
Do you
last...
consider Coach K 1-0, by the way? I think he's already 1-0. Beat Villanova in the secret scrimmage, so this is to go 2-0 if he wins this game.
People made a compelling case that he lost. Villanova fans made a compelling case that he lost,
of course
which is
they
that.
did.
Well, I mean, the compelling case is that if he won, we would hear about it. That Duke would be like, the GOAT did it again.
The GOAT.
What was I? I forget what I was even saying. You take it from here.
No, I was just saying number 2. Sorry, the Coach K retirement tour. I mean, this is the start of a long, illustrious run throughout the season where we get all the hype, all the love. I think there's 45-minute pregame, 40 minutes.
That's what I was gonna say tonight. The Champions Classic. This is the last first game of Coach K's life, kind of his career, his life, his legacy. What is his legacy? If you're thinking of when you think of Coach Tate, do you think of legacy? Do you think of life? Do you think of both intertwined into a cornucopia of success and turning boys into men and lessons along the way?
I think of D on the chest. That's the first thing that comes to mind.
Oh my God,
Coach K.
Oh my God,
it's going to be a fun. Every single pregame is going to be setting up Coach K, right? I mean,
Tom Izzo talking about the Champions Classic was like, Coach, what do you think about the game versus Kansas? He was like, it's an honor to be a part of this event because Coach K's here.
Yeah.
I think all roads lead back to Coach K. I think Johnny Juzang is going to beat Villanova on Friday. He's going to be asked about, what it means to beat a story program like Villanova. A lot of expectation coming into the season, Johnny, et cetera, et cetera. And his answer is going to be like, respect to Coach K. I think everybody, the basketball Illuminati has gotten the order. You must compliment Coach K.
You have to.
Coach K
you have to. It's
which is why we're doing that. We're doing that with number 2 on our list. Coach K is number 2. When I think of number 2s, I think of Coach K.
Me too. 100%. That all the way checks out. And like, it's either Jeter or Kobe. I don't know what retirement tour we can like really kind of compare this to.
Yeah.
But it is funny that like so many people hated Jeter and hated Kobe, right? But when the retirement tour, right when it clicked in and started, love from everyone.
What gifts is he getting? What's the craziest gift he's going to get, I wonder? That's what I'm keeping an eye on.
He's getting a statue at Army. Statue at Army.
Army's going to unveil a statue.
And he's like dressed as a general. Everyone's like, what? Like, how did this happen?
It's him and Mickey. It's on their wedding day. They got married at West Point, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
On their graduation day.
On their graduation day, yeah. That's the famous
Did you know that, Jim?
Yeah, it's romantic.
He's like, that's my
amazing.
That's why he believes in true love. You know, a lot of people watch Disney movies. Jim's like, I watched Mickey and Coach K get married.
All right, moving on. Coach K.
The retirement tour is number 2. That's
as much as we respect him, he is number 2, which brings us to number 1.
Very Bono of him to be number 2.
Number 1 on our list. The thing we're looking forward to most in this college basketball season.
I'm excited.
The Coach K retirement tour.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
What? Yeah. Coach K. Just Coach K, number 1. Wow. Unbelievable.
Coach K.
Coach K.
Coach, you son of a bitch.
How did he do it?
Can we get him on the show?
We have to get him on the show. Coach K.
You think so?
Coach K, I think there's a chance he would come on the show.
You have one question you can ask. I know you've already asked him. You talked to him with your 5-star podcast you're doing, whatever. You have one question you could ask Coach K. What is that question? Message for the haters?
I think I do a Tom Rinaldi on him, which is like, I what he did to Urban Meyer, like in a word, why? In a word, why? Because I think that leaves it open-ended. Like, why did you coach basketball? Why did you come to Durham, North Carolina? Why did you embrace being the villain? Why did you say all these horrible things about like just open-ended, in a word, why? And he's just like sitting there and he's thinking about all of the things.
And his conscience is
his conscience is like, why? And then I throw water on him like Dorothy did, like the Wicked Witch of the East, and I see if he melts. And I think that's like my final interview. I'm like Graham Bessinger. I'm like, thanks so much, Coach. Really appreciate it. He's like drenched in water. And I think, that's how it goes out. But in a word, why? And I'm not sure he has the answer because I don't know why. He doesn't know why. But he's won the most. If that's the person you think was going to win the most basketball games ever, I wouldn't have thought that.
It's not. Jim Boeheim's not going to let that happen.
Not done yet.
Jim Boeheim's not done yet.
Syracuse fans are happy that we're pointing that out, by the way.
No, he's not done yet.
They know he's a man on a mission.
He's locked in, dude. He's locked in. He's getting blood transfusions and like sleeping in hyperbaric chambers.
Jim Boeheim
and shit.
is also number 1. Like he's a part of the Coach K climb. The final climb.
Jim Boeheim, as it turns out, like Jim Boeheim doesn't drink, right? Like
no.
That's one thing I know about him for whatever reason. Mm-hmm. What if he doesn't drink because it's like he's super health conscious because he's just trying to beat out, like his whole mindset is like, I did the math in 1971 and I realized if I don't drink for those 40 years, for those 50 years,
I can outlast the rest. You know what I was thinking? You know what is also talking about, like outlasting the rest and legacy and everything? The craziest moment of the Coach K retirement tour is Bobby Knight's going to come to a game at Cameron.
Oh, dude.
That's what I didn't even, because Coach.
Are you scooping this?
I'm scooping this. I'm scooping this. He's coming to a game at Cameron. So Bobby Knight, when Coach Knight comes to that game and like has this full circle moment, like.
Are they giving him a mic? Are they going to let him talk? Bob Knight comes out, just grabs a mic in the Cameron Indoor Stadium.
Please give him a mic, please. That'd be great for Duke. But that's gonna be a moment. Like we're gonna have to break that all down. I don't know what Coach Knight would say, but it would be great. Or will be great.
Yeah, I saw he was back at IU again.
Yeah.
He was back for practice, and then they had like some event on Friday or something.
They had like they did one of the Kentucky events, like, we're hyping, getting everybody excited. It
was like a name, image, likeness deal.
Exactly.
Though. Yeah, it wasn't
it
wasn't like a
stuff.
Yeah,
it was the whole thing.
But Knight didn't look great, dude.
He didn't look great, but he also, I saw him talking to the players and knew their names.
Oh, really?
He was like saying people's names, and they were
I just saw bad pictures.
Yeah, I sent you a bad picture. I took blame for that.
The one picture you sent me, I was like.
But I was trying to show you that, like, Coach. It was supposed to be like an excitement, like Coach Knight's back, but the picture wasn't.
The picture was
like, Jesus Christ! Like,
I was like, dude,
I'm sorry.
This is not.
I was trying to share good news.
This is the opposite of that.
Yeah.
This is like, oh my God.
But
please.
Coach K and Coach Knight coming together. Maybe Grant Hill will be there. It's going to be one of those moments in time where you're like,
all right, well, there you go. Something to. I don't know if anyone else will be talking about it, but we'll certainly be talking about it throughout the season. Coach K's retirement tour. We promise. That's our promise to the American people, is that we will cover Coach K's final season.
Who gets the exclusive with Coach K? Andy Katz?
Billis. It's Billis.
Jesus.
And
gross.
Then, yeah.
Gross.
It's definitely Billis.
Can you believe that Billis made a documentary about his team?
Yeah, he did, didn't he? The team that saved K or whatever.
You gotta make a doc, and you gotta be like the team that saved Thad Matta.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's what your next move should be, because that's what he did with Coach K. He took credit for Coach K's career. He's basically like, if Danny Ferry did not come here,
the team that saved Ohio State basketball.
Yeah, literally. You should make that doc.
All right, let's get out of here. Shoutouts, closeouts. Anything else that we didn't talk about?
Quickly,
we hit it all. I mean, for God's sakes, 2-hour podcast, I think.
Yeah, this is for the people. This is for the real fans at home. We love you so much. I want to shout out to Cole Anthony, Mr. Post-game interview, 33 points.
He's still in the league?
He's about to be an all-star.
Oh, is it?
Harrison Barnes is also about to be an all-star. About to have 2 all-stars this year in North Carolina. So if you're
Cole Anthony's balling out, huh?
He's balling out. 33 points.
Are the Magic good?
No, they're like 2-6. But
Franz Wagner's playing well too.
Franz
right?
Wagner.
Yeah.
Shout out to Michigan.
Yeah.
Shout out to Franz Wagner.
It's like crazy here.
Hey, shout out to Michigan.
No, in all seriousness, I meant to say this when we were talking about the Big Ten drought, because I understand. I see the elephant in the room, which is that Purdue and Michigan, the two teams that I probably dislike the most in the Big Ten, are certainly my history being growing up an Indiana fan, and then going to Ohio State. Those would probably be the two teams that I
blind spots.
Yeah, my friends and family don't like the most. But I am mature enough to say this, Tate, that if it comes down to Purdue or Michigan in the national championship game, and we need the conference needs one of those teams to win, to snap the streak, I will cheer for them to not embarrass themselves. At least. I don't know if I can. I'll cheer for them to win. I will. I think I will. It depends.
Wow.
Depends on context, I guess.
I have a feeling that
if they're playing Duke, if they're playing, I don't know. Never mind.
I have a feeling that Michigan, because I am so far off the scent of Michigan, like I don't believe in Michigan, I feel like they're the team to go to the Final
Michigan's
Four.
going to be nasty. Dude.
Yeah, I was going to say, so if you're trying to like fade my Big Ten, because I don't know what's going to happen in the Big Ten, and I'll be upfront about that. So I like redacted, and I've always liked redacted, but if there's a team to really bet on, it's Michigan.
I think Purdue is the best team in the Big Ten. I think Michigan is the best team constructed to win a national title, if that makes any sense. I think if I had to pick a team that's going to win the conference, regular season conference title, I'm picking Purdue. If I had to pick a team that's going to win the national title from the Big Ten, I'm picking Michigan.
Yeah. Also, 1993, New Orleans, Final Four, Michigan. So they like New Orleans also. Got to remember that. There's history with these cities.
The lowest point in the history of Michigan basketball happened in New Orleans.
It was a travel. It was a travel before the timeout, guys.
What other shout-outs?
Shout out to Soulja Boy. Jim sent us this. Soulja Boy got his jersey retired by the Miami Heat.
Sure.
We love the Miami Heat and the fact that they retire anybody's jersey and hang any.
Did he really get a jersey retired?
I don't think he got it retired. I think he just got a jersey. Like they gave him like a jersey and he lost his mind about it. But Soulja Boy in the rafters forever with the Miami Heat.
He's in the rafters?
No, I don't.
What did you say? What are we shouting him out for?
We're shouting him out for getting a jersey from the Miami Heat and acting as if he's going in the rafters. But I like to play that he is going to go in the rafters because I'm sure he's not, but I like the idea that he is.
I want to shout out my high school, the Brownsburg Bulldogs. We won sectionals in football. Suck at Carmel. Suck at Avon. Avon had a horrible year. Nobody's talking about it. You won't hear any podcast talk about this, but Avon football was absolute dog shit this year, and it couldn't happen to a worse group of people. Like I'm so happy that Avon is a disaster. Brownsburg won sectionals. We beat Carmel. We're moving on. I think we play Ben Davis next.
Ben Davis.
So if you hear,
I don't know why. Just think about him having his own team. It's like
dude, Ben Davis is the powerhouse. In
really?
Indianapolis. Oh yeah, dude.
Nice.
They've been a powerhouse forever.
So Carmel is McRoberts' land, right? That's his high school.
Carmel's McRoberts' land. Yeah, yeah. Ben Davis is. I'm trying to think of who you know that went to Ben Davis.
Well, we had some friends of the program reach out. They're saying McRoberts is within range. Which I mean, obviously, you know McRoberts, so we can. But we got to have him on the show. We need a Coach K correspondent, and it needs to be Josh McRoberts. Yeah. Officially. Yeah. I'm putting the request in.
Yeah. Well, we just beat his ass, his school.
We'll text him and say we just owned
you. Yeah,
we
just owned you. Yeah. Brownsburg won sectionals. Yeah. So suck it, Josh.
Yeah.
Also, I want to wrap it up with this. Shout out to all the Scoopers in college basketball. I want to wish you the best of luck this year. It's a dog eat dog world out there. It's a cutthroat business. And we understand Tate, you, John Rothstein, who's a friend of the program, obviously. Goodman's one of them. Gary Parrish dabbles. I like how Parrish is a scooper but not a scooper at the same time. Norlander's always got the scoops of just like the administrative shit, like the NCAA,
you're right. Administrative is the right word.
They're like the NCAA has passed a new bylaw. Norlander gets that scoop, and
or they've changed like Final Four venues or something like that. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. So shout out to all you guys. Best of luck this year. I hope you guys kill it. All eyes are on you.
Can you tell me what Rothstein said to you when you called him? Other than was he talking junk? Like, is he trying to come at us?
No, Rothstein called me today because I texted him. I was prepping for the show and I was like, John, how many A10 bids are we looking at this year? That's what I literally texted him that.
4.
And he called me and he was like, who cares? Because the first thing out of his mouth was like, who cares about the A10? Let's talk about Brad Stevens at IU and how wrong you were. And I was like, dude.
So he just
let bygones be bygones. Like, we've moved on, dude. Like, what are we talking about? And then he's got shots fired. He brought up UCLA too, and how like I wasn't on the Mick Cronin train out of the gate, and I was like, dude, John, not like this, buddy. So
what is he? Does he listen to the show?
I asked him, what's your hottest take, and he goes, what does that mean? I said, what is the thing?
Does that mean?
I said, what is the thing you believe this season that no one else seems to believe? And you're you're reading all the other previews and seeing everyone else talking, and no one else is saying it. And he's like, I'll tell you what it is. He goes, I think the timing is right for Nebraska and for Northwestern to crack into the top 8 of the Big Ten. That's what he told me. I was like, John, your brain. Please tell me you're giving your brain to science when you go, because
what is he talking about?
We got to study this thing, man. We got to study this thing.
Nebraska's a basketball school. Northwestern, John predicted was going to go to the tournament this year. So if they do go to the tournament, we'll give him his credit. We'll give him excellence in journalism. But otherwise, John.
Finally, shout out to all the Southern California basketball programs that have the power to give me access and invite me to games and shit. So I hope all you guys kill it this year.
Yes.
LMU, UCLA, Pepperdine,
Long Beach State,
Santa Barbara. Shout out to you guys.
San Diego State.
San Diego State. Yeah. Yes, we see you. We speak your name.
Yeah. We love you.
We love you. Who else can give us free shit?
Cal State Fullerton.
Love Fullerton. Irvine.
Shout out to Joey Brooks. Cal State Fullerton.
Yep.
There you go.
Fullerton, Irvine, Northridge, certainly.
San Jose State. Shout out to 10 miles.
Not Southern California at all, but
also, we're just climbing. We're just climbing all California.
Let's get out of here. Have a fun season, everybody. Good luck to everybody. Champions Classic picks, real quick. Go. Just give us a pick. Give us picks. Go.
Duke, Kansas.
I'll say Duke, Michigan State to make it interesting.
Okay.
No Jalen Wilson. Jalen Wilson's not playing.
No, he's not.
Yeah. Michigan State will make it interesting.
Yeah. I think it'd be good for Izzo.
Yeah.
Be good for Coach K.
See you guys.